Welcome to the Personnel Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, June 13th, and the time is 6:08. Members with me today are Council President Mark LaPlante, to my right. To my left, Councilor Rich Russell, and myself, Stephanie Infante, Chair. If you can all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting of the Personnel Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that persons who would like to listen or view this meeting while in progress may either attend in person here at the chamber or use access through our Facebook and YouTube channels. Councilors, we do have minutes for approval from our meeting from May 23. Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a second just for the vote, but I'm not going to vote.
Okay.
Second.
Motion was made and is properly second. All those in favor? Aye.
Present.
Roll call. Councilor Russell.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Oh, no, present, sorry.
And the chair votes yes. All right, councilors, we have a group of Lawrence Airport Commission's appointments here this evening, so bear with us. The first one is item 18323, the appointment of Sharon Burchell to the Lawrence Airport Commission. The term will end July 15th of 2024, and this was brought to us by Mayor DePena, and I believe we have her here with us today. Hi.
Good evening, councilors.
Good evening. Sharon, can you just go over, I mean, we have your application and everything. Just talk a little bit about why you would like to continue the service and for us to get to know you, for those that don't know you.
All right, well, I was born and raised in Lawrence. I'd like to give back to the community of Lawrence, even though I still live in Methuen, but you can still have one person out of state to represent Methuen for the city of Lawrence. I'd just like to give back to the city of Lawrence.
Thank you. Councilors, do you have any questions, comments? Council President?
No, I think I'm going to ask this question to everybody. Give me one thing that you're most proud about regarding your time on the airport board.
Say that again?
Give me one thing that you're most proud about or some accomplishment that you can say that you've got some satisfaction with having served on the airport board.
That I represent the airport commissioners, and the airport continues to thrive in the city of Lawrence, and I'm just proud to be part of that. Just being proud of being part of the community, to have the city of Lawrence represent the airport.
Welcome. Any other questions, comments? Okay, at this point, I will entertain a motion.
I would entertain a motion to send it up for recommendation to the council.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the ayes have it.
Thank you.
When is it? What date is that? 20th. Sharon, our next full council meeting is next Tuesday, the 20th. So if you can attend, that would be great. Yeah, at 7 p.m. Thank you. Okay, the next one is item 18423, the appointment of Andres Castillo to the Lawrence Airport Commission with the term ending July 15, 2024, and this was brought to us by Mayor DePena. Hello, how are you?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Mr.
I'm Andres Castillo, 80 Branch Street in Lawrence, and I've been in the Airport Commission for quite a few years, since 2005. So and I'm still willing to keep serving to the community as much as I can. So if you think I'd be a good access to keep doing the Airport Commission I'd be more than happy to serve you guys.
Thank you, welcome. Councilors, do you have any comments or questions for Mr. Castillo? Council President?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So my question, as I have already asked, you've been on the board for many years. Give me something that you're proud about, or an accomplishment that you can talk about while you have served as an airport commissioner.
Since I've been in the communities, on the commission, I have served as a recording secretary. I have been part of the subcommittees, and I have been vice chair and the chairman for a couple of times. And I believe that the reason I've been doing that is because I qualified to handle those points. And the good thing that I have is the experience that I have get from the airport and the way I deal with situations and how the good relationship that I have with the other committee members.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I guess let me be a little more clear on the question. I don't think I was clear on this one and the previous applicant. The airport has gone through a lot of transition. There's been a lot of improvements. There's been very good leadership there, and through the sense of the airport board and the good leadership, there's been a lot of positive things happening. I'm just curious from your perspective, what do you think is, out of all the things that you're able to accomplish on the airport board, what is something that you take great pride in saying, yes, I serve on the airport board? As a matter of fact, because of my vote, because of my sponsorship, because of whatever it is, we were able to accomplish whatever that is. What is that?
Well, the improvement that have been implemented and the way to conduct the meetings and approve or disapprove those situations, I would say, that are always in good on behalf of the airport. That's one of the input that I can give you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilors, any other questions or comments? All right, at this point, I will entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to send this up with a favorable recommendation to the full council.
The motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and the ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next individual we have is item 18523, the appointment of Bill Collins to the Lawrence Airport Commission with a term expiring July 15th of 2024, and again brought to us by Mayor DePena.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members. It's a pleasure to be here tonight.
Sorry, Bill did give me a copy of his,
I'm sorry I was a little late, and the resume is yet to come. It's en route.
Madam Chair, are you looking for the application?
They have it.
we have it, thank you, thank you. So just same thing, Bill, I believe this is a reappointment, but, you know, just talk about your experience and let us know, you already know what Council President is looking to hear, so.
Thank you,
Talk
Madam
about
Chair.
you,
I'm glad, Council, I'll get to that question later, but I'm just very proud and really, it's a privilege to serve on the board, serve in my city with such wonderful commissioners and a wonderful manager. Very cohesive unit. It's a very different culture at the airport than it is here at 200 Common Street. We really get by on very little. And I was going to lead into my answer, but I'll wait for Mr. President to ask that question. It's really great. I really enjoy it. As a former pilot, it's a way I can stay connected to the aviation world. And I'm thankful I'm on the commission.
So with that being said, any questions or comments from the councilors? Council President.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So no surprises here. So, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Commissioner, excuse me. So, give me an idea of something that you've heard the questions. So,
Very
what's
simple.
the answer? Go ahead.
Airport is in the black. That is the proudest thing I could say about the airport. It is the only city department in the black. We don't operate on any taxpayer funds. We get our fees from rents, leases, tie-down fees, fuel, flowage, so we're self-sufficient. And I'm proud of that. The airport has been in the black for a few decades now. And it'll continue to improve and be even more in the black because we have development coming. We're going to be building a few hangars. With the town's approval, we have to go through some preliminary things, but we're just about built out with all our land. So it's just going to be more revenue. So it's really, we're in a good situation, we're in a good place, we have a great team, and that's all I can say about it.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Collins.
Any other questions or comments? Nope. At this point, I will entertain a motion.
I would make a motion to send this up with favorable recommendation to the full council.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the ayes have it.
Thank you, councils.
The next, the next item is 18623, the appointment of Daniel Foley to the Lawrence Airport Commission with a term expiring July 15th of 2025, and this was also brought to us by Mayor DePena.
Good
Hello,
evening,
Mr. Foley.
councilors.
Good evening. Same thing. Just tell us a little bit more about yourself and why you would like to continue serving as a airport commissioner.
My name is Dan Foley. I'm a resident of 11 Cedar Drive here in Lawrence, in your zone. I'm a former police officer in Lawrence, served 28 years there, retired as a lieutenant. And this is the second tour of duty, so to speak, on the council. I'm up for reappointment, and yeah, that's about it. I've got a master's degree in criminal justice and bachelor's degree in sociology.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I'm assuming I'm
Council
up next for
President.
Councilor Blank.
LaPlante. Yeah, so what listen, the most impressive thing about your resume is where you went to high school, to be candid with you. Where'd you go?
Austin Prep.
Of course you did. That's very impressive.
Full scholarship.
Oh, really? Okay, now you're bragging, which is not very polite. So the same question as everybody else. What, as you look back, what is the things you're maybe most proud of as being an airport commissioner?
Actually, the thing I'm most proud of is during my first tour on the commission, I developed it was shortly after 9/11, and the state came down, the Mass Aeronautical Commission back then, that's what they called, they came down with a request for airports, general aviation airports, which is what Lawrence is, to develop security procedures. So I developed a security procedure based on my experience with the police department that has been brought to the state. The state liked it, and they wanted to use it for all the GA airports in Massachusetts, but they never voted on it, which is, I guess, kind of typical for Massachusetts. Yeah, that's the one thing that I'm most proud of. And also the second thing is that all of us here on the Airport Commission, we're running that like a well-oiled machine. As Bill Collins said, we're running in the black. We don't take money from the city, and we take care of all of our possibilities. Anyways, that's an important thing. We want for nothing, and we just give back, and we have a good product that we've produced.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? At this point, I will entertain a motion.
I would make the motion to send this up to the council with a favorable recommendation.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? I've been forgetting about the discussion part. Discussion? No discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is item 187-23, the appointment of Robert H. Irving to the Lawrence Airport Commission with the term expiring July 15 of 2025, and again, brought to us by Mayor DePena. Hello, Mr. Irving.
Good evening, councilors.
the same procedure.
I'm a former resident of Lawrence. I currently live in Salisbury. I lived in Lawrence for about 15 years. I owned a house on Woodland Street, and I owned a house on Beresford Street. I learned to fly at Lawrence Airport, and happy to serve on the commission.
Thank you. Councilors, any questions or comments? Council President.
Thank you very much. So I actually, second question, I'm going to throw the softball first, which is what can you be most proud of, or what are you most proud of having served on the Airport Commission?
I think one thing that I'm, aside from the fact, as several other councilors, commissioners have mentioned, the fact that the Airport Commission makes money for the city. I'm very proud of that. I'm also proud of the fact that we continue to upgrade the airport to meet FAA standards. It's a great place to fly, and happy to serve on the commission.
I got two more questions. The next one is, in your military service, you say that you were a United States Air Force navigator from 66 to 71. Where did you serve?
I served a tour in Vietnam. I served at McClellan Air Force Base in Sacramento and at Otis Air Force Base down the Cape.
And I just want to say that this is not the only veteran that will be probably on the board after the next city council vote. I think Mr. Collins, I know Mr. Collins is one. Who did I miss as far as other veterans? Director. Okay, so we haven't gotten to him yet, but we will, okay? And so thank you for your service, number one, and to Mr. Collins as well. The last thing is, I'm a little uncertain about what I'm about to say, and I'm going to look to the director who might be able to give me some guidance. I realize that there are certain boards that you do not need to be a resident of Lawrence to serve on, and the Airport Commission is one of those boards. Sometimes the boards require that there be memberships from certain communities. GLSD, for example, comes to mind, where you have to be a member from either Salem or North Andover or Andover, one of the communities. What I don't know about the airport is if there is a similar kind of requirement that says that you need to be from either North Andover, for example, apparently Methuen, or obviously Lawrence is fine, but I don't have an answer. I throw that out there because unless we've got an answer, I'm going to take a look at that. I think we're going to perhaps send this up, but just be aware that that's something that we will need to look into. There's been a previous applicant for a different board from a different community, and unfortunately, even though that person was qualified, our laws prohibit that individual from having served, so we weren't able to go ahead. So I'll follow the lead this evening, but just be aware that there may be a follow-up question that we might need to answer prior to next Tuesday's meeting.
For point of information, I was recruited by Mike Miller, the former airport manager. And it's my understanding that the charter permits several out-of-town members. I don't think they specify that they have to be a contiguous community. A third advantage that I think I bring to the airport is, up until this point, I've been the only active pilot and aircraft owner on the commission. And I think that's important, that that community be represented.
So I did notice that the Director Urena may have an answer for this. Director?
Yes, Madam Chair and City Council President. So according to the charter, and I read it for the record, there are 9 full-time member openings. The Airport Commission shall consist of no more than 11 members, but no less than 3. One of the members should be experienced aeronautics, which in this case is Mr. Irving. The appointments allow for 3 out-of-city members because of the mission of the airport and geography.
thank you. Does that
Thank
answer
you.
your question?
Thank you very much, and that is very helpful. And I guess the other question is, I know that we have Ms. Birchall and now Mr. Irving. Is there a third individual as well? Or there is, okay. And there's only three, through you? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilor Russell.
As a point of personal information, I'd like to thank you for keeping us guys that are on the ground over there in Vietnam safe.
Thank
did a
you.
wonderful job.
Even though you shot at us occasionally.
And we got no airborne people here, but I go by your philosophy. If you guys are gonna land in the airplane, I'm gonna land in the airplane.
Thank you.
Thank you. So with all these great things being, Director, you right now.
Before you do take a recommendation, I also want to make a note that Mr. Robert Irving is a recipient of the Distinguished Flying Cross, second to the Medal of Honor, just for his service in Vietnam. He's very proud of that. It's displayed in his car, license plate, and just want to make a note that it's not just the aspect of service, but distinguished service, which he has and has had and continued service in our community. Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so at this point, I will entertain a motion.
I would like to make the motion to send us up with a very favorable recommendation for a decorated war hero to the full council.
You want the very in the notes?
I do.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion has been made. Has it been properly second? Discussion? There is none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item is item 18823, the appointment of Doug Howe to the Lawrence Airport Commission with the term ending on July 15, 2025, brought to us by Mayor DePena. Mr. Howe.
My experience at Lawrence Airport consists of having lunch at a regular basis at Dominic's. I flew there my very first flight in college to Lawrence Airport from Waterville, Maine. And after college, I was an Air Force pilot for 5 years. And I live in North Andover. And I can't brag about anything that I've accomplished for the airport because I haven't done it before.
So, Council President and Council Russell, we have another veteran here in our presence. Thank you as well for your service. And I just want to make one comment because I'm looking at your application and I see that your major was in economics. It has nothing to do with the airport, but that was my worst subject in college. I barely passed it. And,
Me too.
Yeah. Councilors, do you have any questions or comments for Mr. Howe?
I do.
Council President?
So my question for you is unlike the others, because it's my understanding that this is your first opportunity to serve on, potentially to serve on this board. And I think you're uniquely qualified, having been a pilot and serving here. So my question to you is the following, which is, and this is a harder question because it has to do with more of a vision and projecting forwards. What would you like to accomplish on the airport board?
I honestly don't know because I don't have enough background about it. I need to understand the ownership of the property and the basis by which it operates and take a look at what the budget is. And I have a pretty good mind for business, so I look forward to learning all those things.
Allow me this follow-up. What attracted you to apply for, besides being asked to by the administration, to serve on the Airport Commission?
Well, being retired isn't that exciting. And I do have a background both in business and flying, and I thought it was a good fit, and I'd look forward to doing it.
Last question. In your time in the military, where did you serve?
I went to pilot training in Lubbock, Texas, which was a long drive from Maine. Upon graduation from there, I went to upgrade training in Seward Air Force Base, which is just outside of Nashville. Then I was permanently assigned to Little Rock Air Force Base. I was flying C-130s. You probably somewhat lost hearing from riding in those, as I did, dropping paratroopers all over the place. A lot of my flying was Central America, South America, and Europe.
Thank you for your service, sir, and I look forward to voting this evening on your recommendation. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Council President. I do have a comment. I appreciate your answer When Council President asked you, well, you know, what's your goal? And you were like, I'm not really sure. I have to learn more about it. And I appreciate that because sometimes we feel the need to have a reply when sometimes you need the education or you need to get your feet wet a little bit to understand the role. But, you know, looking at your resume, the pilot experience, your business owner of 20 years, just those two background fit. And I appreciate that you didn't just like bluff something. You were very honest, and that goes a long way.
I don't know as a usual reply. My wife is a Superior Court judge.
Any other, Councilor Russell?
I appreciate your honesty in admitting you served time at Little Rock Air Force Base. I did about 3 months down there at TDY as a combat engineer. As a
Really?
construction surveyor,
Oh,
building a LEAP zone for you people to practice on back in the early
Every base
70s.
I ever went to has been closed. I don't take it personally, but Pease Air Force Base went away. Lubbock, Texas went away. That was Reese Air Force Base. Little Rock, I don't think there's much going on there anymore. And Seward Air Force Base outside of Nashville, all gone.
Okay. I appreciate your service down there. After the meeting's over, I'll tell you a little story about Little Rock.
Okay.
But I would like to make a motion about sending it up with a favorable recommendation to the full council.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Been properly second. Discussion? No discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Okay, next item is item 18923, the appointment of Dana Martis to the Lawrence Airport Commission with a term expiring July 15th of 2026, and again brought to us by Mayor DePena. Hello,
Hi,
how are you?
good and you? My name is Tania Amador Martis. I have been a citizen of Florence since I came to this country in 1987. And the latest addition to the airport commission. And the reason why I joined the commission was because my son had planned to become a pilot. And I was interested in how everything worked there. Since my last year and a half there, I met amazing people, very knowledgeable of what they do. I have learned more than just my son becoming a pilot. And I am very excited. There's a lot of things going on in the commission at the airport. And one of the latest is working with Greater Lawrence, you know, and somehow tying up with to assist the kids that actually live in Lawrence. So I'm very excited about that.
Thank you. Councilors, any comments or questions? Councilor Russell?
I think that this young lady would be a favorable addition to this collection of mostly flyboys that are at the airport. You know, give it a different perspective, and I mean, I see no problem at all with her qualifications.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments?
So, Madam Chair, thank you to the applicant. You did answer one of my questions, which is why did you apply? And I'm going to ask you clearly the unfair question, which is, what would you like to accomplish from what you know? Is there anything that you would like to see? Is there anything out there that you would like to be a part of at the airport?
So I think and the new administration is doing an amazing job with that, is getting the airport to be in the front all across, not just Lawrence or North Andover, but, you know, and bring people into the airport. And I think being part of that and children, you know, there's so many programs out there that are targeted to our children, and I think we go in a good way. So I would like to continue to be part of that and have the ability to see that, our CEO actually came from Lawrence and went to the airport, you know, on one of the visits that they have. So I'm looking forward to another couple of years.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. I would like to say I think it's very admirable that you got involved because of your son's interest. We all, you know, as counselors and as a former school committee member as well, one of the difficulties is getting parent involvement within the community. So the fact that you were willing to learn something for your son, I think is amazing. And like Councilor Russell said, you're definitely a great addition or member of the commission. So
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, at this point, I will entertain a motion.
I would like to make a motion to send this up with a favorable recommendation to the full council.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second.
Well, just quick discussion. I'm just kind of
Council
going
President.
through, no, this is interesting. I mean, you applied for this in 2019. It's like almost 3 years. I mean, this is not, I'm not looking for fault here. I'm just kind of curious as to, has it been really that long since you applied for this position before you got
I didn't
here?
realize that it has been that long since I applied for it, so. No, but this is my second term, so.
No fault of yours, it's just a little, it's a little more lengthy than usual, that's my point. But I'm glad to send this up with a favorable recommendation, thank you.
should have the latest
The new
application
application.
from Ms. Amador, that was the one.
I'm not up to next year.
Yes. So that
That
essentially is an update to the record. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you very much, through you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much, Director. That makes a lot more sense now. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the ayes have it. Thank you. The next item is item 19023, the appointment of Ernest Countermarch to the Lawrence Airport Commission with a term expiring July 15 of 2026, and this was brought to us by Mayor DePena.
Hello, thank you very much.
Is this a reappointment?
Yes.
Also a reappointment. Okay, so,
Yeah, I've lived in Lawrence for, I don't know, 17 years. Prior to that, I lived in Andover. And I was invited the first time to join by Mike Miller because I knew him when I was working as Senior Vice President at FW Web Company, and he thought my business background could be helpful. I was so impressed, frankly, between Mike and Francisco now, and the people on the board, just how business-like it is. And yeah, it's kind of infectious how much they care and how much they know about the airport. And you know, we have these different construction projects. It's a learning experience for me, obviously, because I'm not a pilot. But I certainly think that the Lawrence Airport, I brag about it all the time when I talk with people, because it's, a lot of people don't know enough about it, frankly. You know, they know where it is. And I just think that there's so much more potential there. Some of it we're realizing. Supposed to be a new administrative building eventually, right? I think that'll be a big help and a big addition too. But yeah, I mean, during COVID it was difficult because we had to figure out how to make money anyway, and we did a pretty good job of that, I thought.
thank you. And in order for, I mean, this is my belief, in
Yeah.
order for any board or commission to be successful, you do need a diverse set of skills. So even you mentioned that you have the business
Right.
experience. So I mean, a few of you do. So just having that, I understand now why we've been in the black. So that's good. That's needed in a board. And I also want to say thank you for your service in the Marines.
Oh, thank you. I didn't have a choice. My dad was in the Marine Corps in World War II. All my friends went in the Navy. He wouldn't sign the papers. But anyway, yeah, I joined the Marine Corps in 1962. You know, there's a lot of ironies in life. My dad was a politician in New Hampshire, in the town I grew up in. And so, because New Hampshire is the first primary in the nation, everybody who wanted to be president was always coming to our town. And so when you're a kid, you don't appreciate the opportunities that you did have. But I distinctly remember in 1959, because John Kennedy was in my house, as a candidate, looking for the support of the party. Anyway, you know, obviously he won. That was 59. 1962, I joined the Marine Corps. Went to Paris Island, Camp Geiger, thought I was going home on leave, and got turned around because of the Cuban Missile Crisis, called by this guy who was in my kitchen, and immediately turned around. I went to Gitmo for 6 months TAD, came back to Camp Lejeune, went back for another 6 months TAD, and I learned some Spanish while I was in Cuba. Yeah, so actually I do pretty well with it now. 'Cause,
I definitely, for me, I have a little soft spot for the Marines. I have two of my cousins are Marine vets, and I have
Oh,
an
no
uncle
kidding,
who's
yeah.
a vet, Marine vet, so
Yeah,
thank you
that,
again.
yeah, we have a tremendous amount of pride in belonging to the Corps.
Thank you. With that being said, councilors, any questions or comments? Councilor Russell?
One comment I have is seeing your Marine experience, even though the director and you were a generation apart, I know you both have the Semper Fi attitude.
Oh, you simplify big time, yeah. Yeah, it's quite a fraternity, to be honest with you. I still have, even though my dad has passed many years ago, well, when he knew he was leaving, he said to me, make damn sure there are Marines at my funeral. And of course I did, because it wasn't difficult, because my nephew was in the Corps and he rounded up some Marines. And funny story was, it was February 4th, it was colder than hell, and we're all outside. And the gunnery sergeant said we couldn't find a field music to blow taps, so we checked at the high school and they sent a music teacher up. And the gunnery sergeant said, this is how this is going to go. The Marine's going to discharge their weapon, we're going to hand the flag, hit them at Scudamash, and then you're going to blow taps. The guy says, well, it's kind of cold, he says. Sometimes it goes off key. And he simply says without hesitation, if he screws up taps, shoot him. It was hilarious, I thought.
Any other questions or comments?
Yes,
Council President?
so you are on the airport commission right
Yes.
now, and you've served there. So I'll go back to my earlier question, which
Right.
is, the question is there something you can look back upon and say, I'm proud of being a part of that accomplishment?
Well, to be honest with you, because it was my first term, it was really a learning curve for me. So I kept my ears open. Very fortunate to have the senior members on the commission and the leadership that we had. I was so impressed. And so I've been there long enough now where I know enough to be dangerous, but I'm just thrilled. I think Chairman Andres Castillo and Sharon Birchall, and they just do a phenomenal job of making sure that business gets done in a business-like way.
I appreciate that. Too much time here. Is there anything that you're in that dangerous zone? You know a little bit, and now you can project
Right.
a little bit now. So, any thoughts about the future of the airport?
Well, with the projects that we have ongoing right now and some that we're talking about, to me, it just shows that there's an investment and that that I think it's going to be a good future there. And I just want to be part of it. And, I really am quite impressed by the group that I'm with.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Quartermarsh, for your service, and I will enlighten the councilors that this is somebody who I represent on the city council, so I'm glad to represent you and look forward to your vote at the full council level. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? At this point, I'll entertain a motion.
I would like to make the motion to send this up for a full recommendation to the full council.
Motion has been-
Favorable recommendation to the full council.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly second. Discussion? I see none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the ayes have it. Quickly, before you all leave, Director Urena, thank you so much for bringing your commission, some new, some currently serving. If you all can join us next Tuesday, the 20th at 7 p.m. at the full council. Other councilors may have different questions or comments for you. I do have to say I love what I heard tonight. I love the diverse skill set that this board has and will bring. And I want to thank you for bringing them to us again.
I appreciate it, Madam Chair and members of the council. I think what you saw and heard tonight is a focus on passion of service, passion for succession and success at an airport that sometimes it sets a tone in many ways, and I think has many challenges, but because of this diversity of thought, diversity of background in this board, there's so many tools, so many people that I rely upon for advice, focus, and guidance into the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Sure. Yeah.
Everyone on the council is welcome to come.
Can you?
I just, on behalf of the commissioners, you are welcome to come to our meeting to see how we perform and how we make decisions. The third Thursday of every month, you're welcome to come and join us.
I will definitely take you up on that offer.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so moving forward, we have one last item. Item 21423, Director of Inspectional Services Department, ISD, temporary appointment, ordinance number 204018. And this was put on the agenda by myself and Council President LaPlante. Council President?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Just one little typo on the re part of that. It should say the last three digits are 081, not 018. I think Mr. Russell caught. Yeah. It's 81. I believe that's correct. We may have to have some order in the chambers first, Matt. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So, committee members, so this was placed on by the chairman and myself. We have an ordinance that is referenced in the memo that is before us, but perhaps even more importantly than the memo that's before us is the fact that this city council took a vote for the Inspectional Services Director, and the person who was voted on did not get sufficient votes. It failed for a lack of a fifth vote. And because of that, we were, I think, as a city, are in a very difficult position. We have an individual who's currently serving the city in a position that has not been properly ratified by the city council per our charter. And we have a tool in our toolbox to help correct that. And I must candidly say to my colleagues that this is a tool that I don't aspire to use. It's not something that I think a council would want to use, because any of these department heads respond to the mayor, and the mayor is an integral part of the hiring authority for these positions. And this is a very important, I mean, they're all important, but ISD has a very important position in our city. And it's a place where I don't think, I can only speak for myself. I would rather not have us go down this road. But unfortunately, I think that there's been plenty of time that has passed, a lot of time that has passed. I think that the council has been very generous and patient with its time. And it doesn't mean that this will preclude working with the administration going forward. I would, again, speaking only for myself, I would encourage this committee and this council to continue to work even as this process has begun, whereby there's an ad in the MMA, for example, to bring applicants before this city, to the personnel department, and this committee will be charged with reviewing the applications and then submitting a recommendation to the full council to select an ISD director. Again, I'll repeat, I would hope that as this committee goes through that process, that we open the lines of communication with the administration to make sure ultimately that they are part of this, because that person is going to report directly to the mayor and not to the city council, although they will need to have a good relationship with us. But that's how I would that's how I would approach this, and I would recommend that this committee approach this. I don't see any action happening this evening. I see this committee tabling this evening. I see this committee meeting next time and asking the personnel director to provide for this committee the applicants, so this committee can review, and then the committee can make a determination as to whether, and maybe have some sort of ranking, similar to what we went through with the clerk and with the city attorney, and maybe the personnel director can be helpful in guiding us through that. And then, at some point, this committee is going to make a recommendation. Are the applicants that we have satisfactory? Does it meet what we're looking for that person? And again, I would have that cooperative relationship with the administration, and then send it up to the full council so the council can make an ultimate decision that they agree with the committee's recommendation or not. So the way that we work is not very fast. Just because we have 2 meetings a month, there are things going on, so I don't expect that this is going to be completed by the 1st of July. I suspect, it would be amazing, but there needs to be an interview process. I'm sure there's things we want to do. So this thing could go into mid-July, for example. But but Madam Chair, I am so happy, that's not really true, I'm not really happy about sponsoring this. But I do think that I look forward to your leadership on this, so we can get to a good place for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have a representative from the administration office, Chief of Staff William Castro. Mr. Castro, is there any message or information from the mayor's office that you believe would be important to share at this point?
Good afternoon. William Castro, Chief of Staff of the Mayor's Office. As of now, I spoke to the mayor. He's fully aware of what's going on with ISD and making replacement. He knows I brought the concerns to him. He's full aware of it, and we in agreement to move forward.
Thank you. I know I am aware that the ad for the position is on the MMA site. So I do know that it's out there. We are looking for applicants, and I agree with everything that Council President mentioned. It is a partnership, and this position will be reporting to the mayor, so it is important to keep that open line of communication. My only feedback for the administration that I have, that I'm a bit displeased with, communication to the community regarding the individual that we have currently. Because he was not ratified, the communication keeps addressing him as director. He is an acting or interim director, and that is not, director is not his proper title. And I hope that the administration, until we find a permanent person, that moving forward for community communications, that's fixed. But other than that, all the comments I have. If there's any other questions or comments?
I will speak with the mayor,
Okay.
and I'll address that with him
Thank you.
in HR.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, my other question is for Director LaGreca, just about the position, the ad itself, but she couldn't make it tonight, so.
Okay.
I will invite her. Can we send her a correspondence to join us for the next personnel meeting? Oh, can I have a motion to send correspondence to the Director of HR for our next personnel meeting?
I'll make that motion to send the request to have the, Personnel Director present at our next meeting.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly second. All discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
And the ayes have it. Thank you.
Yes, I voted aye.
Okay. All right.
I shook my head.
Councilor Russell.
Do you want to table this?
Yeah, I'm gonna table it, yep. All right, at this point, I am looking for a motion to table item 214-23.
I'll make that motion to table the item 214.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
And it's been properly second. Discussion? I see none. All those in favor say aye.
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 And the ayes have it. Councilors, that's it for new business. I don't know if there's anyone, I believe there's nothing under tabled matters that we're looking to untable. So at this point, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second?
Properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Thank you.
Start. Go ahead. What does this do? Oh, there we go.
Now we can see us.
There you go. We're ready now.
Good evening and welcome to the Ordinance Intergovernmental Relations Committee. Today is Tuesday, June 13, 2023, 7:10 p.m. Today we have with us Councilor President Marla Plan, that he is at my left, Councilor Maria de la Cruz, District A, Councilor at Large Selena Reyes, and myself. Before we start, pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Act of 2022, this meeting of Ordinance Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to view this meeting while in progress may either attend in person at the location above or at any of the following access locations: Facebook and YouTube. Please, let's stand to salute the flag. We're going to start calling item 191-23. It's at the closure of a conflict. Jose Gutierrez, Lawrence School Department. Please state your name and address. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jose Gutierrez. My address is 518 Andover Street in Lawrence, Mass. I am here because I have been an interpreter in the community since 2013 in various capacities, working for Holy Family, helping out the families interpret with the doctors and bridging that gap of communication. I've also been working for years for Dominguez SP interpreters at different events, community events, legal events, different capacities. And fortunately enough, I've become part of the Lawrence Public Schools since August of 2022. So I'm very excited to do that, to be able to help the families when it comes to their children's education. So I'm just here to disclose that information, that I do work for the Lawrence Public Schools, and I also work alongside Dominguez SP Interpreters, which has just recently started interpreting the council city meetings. So I just wanted to make that aware.
Councilor, any question?
You said that you work
Since August of 2022, since last year. This has been my first school year
as an interpreter as well?
as an interpreter.
Madam Chair, so just so we're all clear on this, there's some questions whether or not this is required or not. So I think this is just to make sure, an extra step. Oftentimes when firefighters plow streets for DPW in the winter, because they're getting 2 paychecks from the city, they need to give notice to the council that they're looking to do that. So in this particular case, it's not going directly to the employee. It's going to go through the vendor, and then but there's some uncertainty about it. So just to be on the safe side, he's just giving notice to the full council and saying, listen, I'm going to be working as your interpreter, and I'm also getting a paycheck on the school department, and I just want everybody to know that so that there's no potential conflict of interest. That's what this is about.
In a nutshell, thank you, Mr. LaPlante.
Councilor, any other questions?
Motion to
no
send to the
question.
full council with favorable recommendation.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Because I don't think so that I need to call one by one. Because there is no one in that side. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, I appreciate your
Have a
time.
good night. So, the next meeting will be on the 20th.
We'll be here on the
So you
20th.
should be in here.
Yes, we will. We're looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda, I'm going to call 19723. That is for bingo in the park. This will be July 22nd and 23rd, 2023 at the Campanone Park by Margarita Sanchez Aracena. Please state your name and address and talk a little bit about your bingo.
Margarita Sánchez Aracena y la calle yo vivo 279 de la Park Street, por frente a los bomberos.
Margarita Aracela, and she lives on 179.
279 de la Park.
279 Park Street. I'm only here to help her translate.
Thank you. Please, can you tell a little bit about what you plan to do on that day?
¿Le puedes decir cuáles son tus planes para ese día?
Quiero poner un binguito ahí en el Parque La Ardilla en verano, si se puede.
She's looking to start a bingo at the park in the summer, if she could.
So besides of that, what else are you going to do? So just only people are who can come to place, everybody is invited to place, or you have like a group that is coming to play bingo from an association, from a church, from somebody else? How you gonna plan to do that?
Más detalle de los
Que yo no
planes
sé más
tuyos.
nada. Yo no sé más nada.
¿A quién tú vas a invitar?
Oh,
si es para la
a mi amiga, no, a mi
ciudad.
amiga, mi amiga.
Are you gonna have a music? Are you gonna have people dancing? So that is what we would like to hear. What, with the bingo.
No, it's only gonna be a group of her friends.
This is the first time that you're doing this.
Esta es la primera vez que tú estás haciendo eso. Yes.
Councilor, you have any question?
No, we just want to tell Margarita that I hope you had a good time that day and that you can bring people in a very nice way that they can entertain. We understand that a lot of nice people in our community are going through a lot of loneliness, and this is a great opportunity to bring people together.
Dice que sea una buena oportunidad para traer a un grupo de personas al parque.
Council President?
Muchas personas viven solas, se sienten solas y espera que tú pases un buen tiempo.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. When I see the word bingo, I think back when I was a younger guy and there was churches that was raising money and they were doing these bingo things. And so I just want, and there are laws regarding gaming. Bingo is, at least when I grew up, was gaming. There was money that you could make and lose and all that kind of stuff, and there was laws. So please, through you, Madam Chair, what do we mean by bingo?
¿Cuál es el significado del bingo para ti?
Que sufro depresión y quiero como al
Pero
verano.
entendiste lo que él explicó, que para cuando estaba pequeño,
Sí, que un tanto poquito.
ajá,
He jugado bien.
había dinero involucrado, que si eso es parte de...
No, 3 pesos, ¿sabes? Para recoger algo, para...
So yes, there will be some cash involved among the relatives that are coming and the people that are coming to play.
Madam Chair, I'm not prepared this evening, just because I'm not fully familiar with all the laws dealing with traditional bingo and the exchange of cash. There are state laws, I believe, that govern this, as well as local laws. Scrambling mightily here to see if I can find it real quick, and I'm not. What day are they looking to do this?
July 22nd and July 23rd.
Madam Chair, I do expect that this city council will be meeting again, not only on the 20th, but on the 5th of July, and also, and on the 18th, through July 5th and July 18th. So my recommendation is for this committee to get a legal counsel on whether or not we can permit this to go forward. And I would encourage the committee to table the matter here and get that information. And it would not, if it comes out that there's no problems, there's still plenty of time to get moved up to the full council.
Okay.
So she failed to say a lot of things. And I don't know if, and maybe I'm stepping over her. The whole purpose was, she's going through there's a lot of mental health issues, you are aware. in the
We
city.
cannot hear.
There's a lot of mental health issue, as you may or may not be aware, in the city of Lawrence. She saw this as an opportunity for herself to deal with a situation like that. This is me speaking, not her. Maybe if where there won't be any cash involved, maybe prices, would that something that would still need? I'm not saying for this council to approve it. I know that there's more research that you need to do on this, but if that is an option that the second time that comes around, that it could be added to your concerns.
So practically, are you mentioning, I'm sorry. So practically, you mentioned that you're gonna play,
También, sí.
you're gonna play bingo and it's no money involved,
Will be prices.
just only prizes. But anyway, so according to what we are looking in here, we should get anyway, any legal information. So it's still you have the time, to come back. So we're gonna send this to our city attorney so that he can provide all with the information that we're looking for. That is not a problem, so it's not illegal for us to approve something, to be practically when it's been doing public in the park.
So, ellos van a nuevamente entregárselo a la, and I just wanted to add the word price to money. That is not necessarily has to be cash, but I don't know, a bottle of Coca-Cola or a bag of chips. I'm just throwing things out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
Just extending it.
Yeah. So,
Van a llevar al grupo, a su abogado para que lo puedan.
Está bien.
Okay. Thank you.
more question, Council? Any other question? Mr. President?
Am I making the motion?
Yes, you can make a motion.
Rather not, but I will, since you asked. I'd like to make a motion that we send correspondence to the city attorney with the proposal so that the attorney can advise this committee on its responsibilities and lawfulness in granting a permit for this activity, both for bingo for cash and bingo for prizes that are not cash. So that's my motion.
Motion is already made and approved. So all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we table this item until the next meeting and get the city attorney's advice.
Motion to table? All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you. She appreciate your time.
Yes, we're gonna send it, so we're gonna keep it here at the level of the subcommittee as soon as we got the information. So we're gonna call, or she can come into the following next ordinance committee. We can make a note also to ask our secretary to give you a call as soon as we got the information that we're looking, the legal information that we are looking for. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
ellos van a llamarte con la información del abogado y lo van a poner para la próxima reunión que son el 5
Está
de
bien.
julio.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Next item on the agenda, Christian Rally, June 10 at Borgon Park, July 8 at Cronin Park, August 20 and September 9 at Gagnon Park. This is by Jorge Colon. Good evening.
Good evening.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Jorge Colon, pastor of the Christ King Church, and we're here requesting a few days in different parks to have Christian rally in the community, like we've done in previous years. And I just want to say God bless you and thank you for the service. We're hoping that we could reach youngsters, adults with the message of the gospel, and to help to unite this community. I believe a lot of other church members agree with me that we need to search, to reach for more unity in the community with youngsters and families that are devastating for a lot of reasons. But our goal is to bring the message of peace, love, unity, and the difficult times that we live in.
Thank you for the information. Are you going to have any speaker
Yes.
with music?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So those speakers, you know, that has to become toward to the inside, not to outside, because it can bother, you know, some
No, we are
the
aware of
neighbors
that. Yes.
in the area.
Yes.
So you are asking for June 10 at Borgum Park. Oh, yes. Yeah, June 10 is already passed by.
Yeah, I changed that one for October 7, if it's possible. And the next one will be July 8, and then August 12, and then September 9, and then October 7.
So July 8 at the Cronin Park, August 12, and September 9 at the Gannon Park again.
Yeah, I believe you guys had a new updated one.
And, okay. So when you, okay, so you are requesting now, so if we change it, the 1 to October, I think that we need to find out with the park to know if that day is going to be available.
Sure, no problem. To every single one or just the last one?
The last one,
Okay.
yes, the one that you already are changing for October the 7th.
Okay, yeah, all right.
So you need to get in touch with Park Recreation so that they can let us know if that day is available for you to use it.
All right, tomorrow we make a few phone calls and find out.
Okay. Councilor, any question? Councilor de la Cruz?
Yes, we would like to say thank you for helping our community. As you know, we're going to a lot of mental issues around the world. Then, thanks for taking time to do this kind of activities. And what I understand for the October meeting is that sometimes the weather doesn't allow you to do that.
I know.
And the Parks and Recreation, they have to,
Yes.
they have to know about it.
I told my members that, and they tell, no, we want to go. No matter if it's a little bit cold, we don't care. All right, I'm gonna type it again and submit it. But we know now that we have to call Park and Recreation, find out, and then call you guys again.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Council President?
Madam Chair, I just have a question. I think there's two ways to deal with this. It is clear that that on Citizen Serve, through you, Madam Chair, that everything is in order, it appears,
Yes.
for all of them except for the October date. The challenge, as you mentioned, Madam Chair, correctly, is is that we don't know if there's a conflict, if there's already something scheduled for that. If we just we don't keep the schedule. So I think there's two different ways, Madam Chair, that we might be able to do this. One is potentially just to get clarification and get some sort of official document from Recreation saying that yes, those hours and those times are good, and but the complexity is that I'm not sure how you amend that on Citizen Serve, but perhaps in working with Recreation, they can do it. That's one option. The second option is that we pass everything except for the October date, and then he puts an October date singularly by itself. So I throw those as options, Madam Chair. I'm not sure what the committee prefers.
I kind of like what he proposed. Approve the ones that they already, and then leave that one. I like that. Thank you, Counselor.
I'm sorry, diga.
Yes, I'm second what the council proposed. Approve the ones that already have been discussed with Park and Recreation, and I will call, or someone from the church will call Park and Recreation's main office, and they were clear that that day is fine, and then I guess either me or someone from Park and Recreation will contact you guys, and
So I think that the second option that the council president proposed is the best. So we're gonna approve it and send it to the full council with the exception of the October 7th. So you need to go and call the Recreation Department, find out, and you can submit a new proposal for that day.
okay,
Because still you have a time to do that.
I will.
And that way, we will not be holding some of the others day that you already submitted to us.
All right, thank you.
Madam Chair, do they need to separate the two issues? The October 7th?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Motion to approve, to send to the full council
Without
with favorable recommendation without
October the 7th.
October the 7th.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the ayes have it. Thank you.
Thanks,
So you need to come at the next council meeting on June 20.
Okay, thank you, and God
Thank
bless
you.
you.
Maria, you got it? Okay, thank you so much.
Just a quick question, is that on October 7th?
October 7th is not included. Yes, yes.
Madam Chair? I forgot how to ask. Page 4.
Did you say 335?
335. So we're gonna take item 33522 out of table and out of order. Can I hear a motion, please?
Motion to take it out?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 33522 is a resolution elected Lawrence School Committee, and this is by Jonathan Guzman, Vice Chair of the School Committee. This was sent to City Attorney on 10/14/22 and 10/01/22 and 1/27/23. Mr. Guzman, please.
Good evening, Councilor Jonathan Guzman, the Vice Chair of the Lawrence School Committee. We're here to discuss a resolution to sustain and keep and fight for a democratic elected school committee. So the
Excuse me, Jonathan, give me a second.
Thank you. So the two particular documents were brought before you. One that went to the attorney office, it was by this body, sent to him to provide guidance. Guidance was provided on the language of the resolution. We, the school committee, provided additional language on where the information of, as soon as it was passed, where it should go in support, and added particular language that was missing that was really critical on this particular resolution, where we're coming from, specifically within Chapter 12, Chapter 69, the achievement gap of 2010, which are crucial to this particular resolution. Overall, what the resolution is explaining or trying to provide to this body as an opinion is we support an elected school committee. And we also support the conversations of the Lawrence Alliance for Education not following Chapter 12 of the Acts of 2010. That part was reviewed by the attorney. It's still within the resolution, and where we give our interpretation also that they are not following what is called who the receiver is, and the receiver under Chapter 12 clearly states that the receiver is an individual or a nonprofit with a proven record of underperforming schools. Of course, there's a breakdown why on that. We did a presentation and everything to provide you guys more further information. And you know, this information has been within the City Council since 2022. And we would like your support. Those that would like to continue in the school committee and continue in this work would like the support, not to seek anything else. Continue our work within the school committee and continue fighting for our educational purposes as an elected board. So overall, this is just an opinion from this body that we hope that you support.
Madam Chair.
Councilor de la Cruz.
Yes, I have a question for Mr. Guzman. Mr. Guzman, have you received any correspondence from the city attorney?
So the same time that we received the correspondence, you received which that particular text when he reviewed it. Our counter review was the additions, which the attorney provided, which was in red. He provided and took some language out, which we agree with taking it out, just because it was mandating, and he explained that to us. What we added to it, it was the particular ask under Chapter 12, right? Asking the body, the office, that when an elected body or an individual citizen of Massachusetts believes some law has been breached, the attorney of Massachusetts has a particular division that looks into this, right? And we have reached out, and we hope that this body also, through this resolution, reaches out to start a conversation, to look into the law and say, are we following it? Are they following it? Is Chapter 12 being followed? And making sure that parties that are associated within this get, a copy of this. It's important that we're transparent when we're doing our process. And if we're starting a process or saying, hey, we think you're not following the law, I think it's crucial that they understand, as body of power, that this is happening, right? That this conversation is happening the same way that we did when we passed it at the school committee level. We make sure that everybody receive a copy, that they knew what our findings were and where we're coming from, to give people the opportunity through a democratic process, right, to speak up.
Mr. Guzman, what about if we invite the city attorney to our next meeting? What has been the process that he has followed? Because I think an item that is from the 2022, I think we should have a plan of that very clearly that we all can understand. I don't want to see this table anymore. I would like to see this item move forward and sending correspondence to the city attorney to be here to reply to us. Will you be able to come as well?
I would say we're all diligence and request that this body sends out this resolution with verbal recommendation out to the city council and requests the attorney to be at the city council meeting to come with that. Last meeting, he came before you about this item, said clearly, I submitted the recommendations, they submitted counter recommendations. It's up to you to decide which one you're gonna follow as a body. In our interpretation, our given recommendations were simple language that he was missing, that are crucial to where we're gathering this information from, right? For whoever's reading this can go, okay, this is where they're getting their information from, clearly, right? This is the law, this is the chapters, right? That they are grabbing that information from, and by they I mean the city council, right? Because it's coming as an opinion from you. And simply, where should this be sent, right? And have it on the resolution to ensure that there's transparency, that people receive this, and those that receive know where it's going to. That's a process, right? That's a democratic, that's a transparency, that's accountability. And I feel like it's good to go. And I hope that we get this out of this committee and we make the ball roll, as so many pieces been moving. Through chapter 12, we did a presentation to this body, and we said to this body, the formalization of the LAE is wrong. This conversation happened in September 2022. You go and look at the Secretary of State, and they changed it. We gave them the opportunity to fix it. By we, right? The elected body here, because they got stuck here. We had an opportunity to show you are not following the law out of the formation of Chapter 12 and nonprofit sectors. And they got the chance to change it. Public records, look it up. Lawrence Alliance for Education, Inc., the corporation database of the Secretary of Massachusetts. You can see everything that we were calling out, and now you can see all the changes that were submitted and changed.
Madam Chair, and I don't want to interrupt, you're on a flow, so whenever you're done, Madam Chair, I'd like to...
I'll give you the opportunity. Go ahead.
Thank you. Council President.
Through you, thank you. There's a lot of thoughts that come across my mind. In the legal field, when you give an opportunity for someone to cure, to fix or wrong, that's a good thing. That means the pressure you applied is actually been beneficial because something happened based on the work that has been done so that corrections have been made. Ultimately, isn't that what we're trying to do? At least I'm going granular, and I hate going down to this granular detail here, but in that one example, is that such a bad thing that the pressure that you put made them fix something? Why is that so wrong?
Thank you for that question, because, you know, it teaches history, right? that when something is going on and you're calling it out, and then they go fix it, you think that fixes the wrong, and it doesn't. Because this proves that we've been utilized and done with whatever they want, and they can do as they wish with us, right? Don't you get mad that they're able to come into our city and just propose and do, and nobody's watching? That they're able to just create a nonprofit and not follow the law? To change Chapter 12 and add nonprofit to it, to create a board, to then self-appoint them? It's calling that out. Yeah, they fixed it because they were wrong. And thank you for fixing it. But that doesn't mean that it's right. This is taking a stand, saying an appointed board is not clearly the way to go. Because you are not self-accountable. Your transparency piece of doing as you wish with the City of Lawrence Public School District, you're able to.
Madam Chair, there is a push by our distinguished vice chair who wants to move this up to the full council. I've had the benefit of engaging with the vice chair to learn more about the issues, and I will tell you, it's like drinking out of a fire hydrant. There's so much information the vice chair has, and there is a bit of incline of information, understanding of the details here. But the complexity, and make no mistake, there's a complexity to this. And the vice chair has poured himself into this issue to get to this point and to several points. I can speak for myself. If this committee decides to move it on up, this committee will move it on up. And we will have a discussion at the full council. I think that's what the vice chair would like to see happen this evening. I will, as I mentioned to the vice chair in another conversation, to be an effective decision maker on this council, I think, needs to listen to both sides so you can hear both things. There is the vice chair makes compelling arguments. Compelling. He quotes mass general laws. He quotes perhaps other decisions, and to make a persuasive argument as to why we should do what we're doing. I think equally important to that, and I realize this is a resolution, it's non-binding. What we do here is not going to change anything. It's essentially the imprimatur, the opinion of the council of what we believe is to happen. I happen to take that, and I think we all do, but I happen to take that seriously. When I say yes to something, that means something. And before I say yes to this, because if you look at the very end of this resolution, Madam Chair, if you don't mind, if I could just say this, it's the resolution, it's the be it ordered that part that gets to me where I'm saying, oh my goodness, I'm not so sure I want to sign this thing.
Sorry, that's not the resolution. If it says that, that's not the resolution.
What is this?
The resolution that it was revived says, be it resolved. And that was one of the things that the attorney explained to us. Yeah, so and to all clear transparency, all of these documents have been shared constantly since September 22. Now, if those that work for the city are not doing their job in providing these documents and delaying the process again and again and again, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna keep saying it. It's an unfortunate thing that this body doesn't request people that work for the City of Lawrence, for you and for us, because we're a committee of the City of Lawrence, to respond and to do what they're supposed to do when requested.
Last point, Madam Chair, and I will relinquish the floor if you don't mind after this one very brief comment, which is this. The point I was going to get at is that because of the complexity of this issue, and because our signatures and our votes mean something, or else it wouldn't be asked, I'd like to hear
care about your opinion.
The other side. I like to hear what whoever it is that is the other side. I'm not even sure who that is, but we're making, I think, demands. You said, look into the law and begin the conversation. I think that's pretty close to the quote in your earlier testimony this evening.
And I can read the actual piece. And it says, through your chair, it says, now therefore be it resolved that the Lawrence School Committee will continue to be elected by voters as it is today and will do so in the years to come, and that the Lawrence City Council will not entertain any amendment to the city governance that attempts to disrupt the demographic alignment. That's one. What we added, right, is simply where this needs to be sent. Simple as that. Be it resolved that the Lawrence City Council urges the Office of the Attorney General to explore within current laws all options to investigate the development and appointment of the Lawrence Alliance for Education, Inc. as the receiver of the Lawrence Public Schools, and to request the immediate dismissal if found in violation of the Massachusetts General Law. Providing guidance. If they're against the law, please do within your right to make it right. Be it further resolved that the clerk of the city of Lawrence be directed to forward a certified copy of the resolution to Her Excellency the Governor Mara Haley, Honorable Attorney General Andrea Campbell, Honorable Secretary of the Commonwealth William Galvin, Honorable Mayor Brian A. De Peña, Honorable State Senator Pavel Payano, Honorable Representative Frank Moran, Honorable Representative Francisco Paulino, Honorable Representative Stella Reyes, Honorable Secretary Patrick Todd-Weiler, Honorable Bessie Chair Catherine Craven, Honorable DESI Commissioner Jeffrey Riley, and Honorable Vice Chair Jonathan Guzman. There is no other body other than the LAE that can come before you to say that's not true. I really would like to recommend for this. This is the language I was provided again and again and again. And I'm not trying to say, well, I am saying it, right? On multiple occasions, I have come before you, and where you, as a body, don't have the documentation you're supposed to have to make a deliverance, to engage in these conversations. It's an unfortunate scene.
Yes, Councilor De La Cruz.
Thank you, Madam. What scares me the most is that if this city get to a point where the LEE, and the other part, as the council president is mentioning, that they take the whole power as they have it now. They have the whole power of the school department without us as the city councilors request anything from them. They don't even come in to do a monthly presentation about what's going on with the school department. They don't come to the city councilors at all. Then I got to a point where I see that we have like a dictatorship at the LPS. And then when it comes to the a school committee, the people that we voted for, they don't have a voice to request that they come to us and they explain to us how they spend the Chapter 70 money. What do we know about the Chapter 70 money? They just using it to do whatever. What did they do with the laptop and the computer that they got for the kids during the pandemic? Nobody comes to tell us what's going on over there. They don't even tell us that, they don't even listen to us, that we have a department of recycling, and they do not recycle. We cannot tell them what to do. They don't teach our kids for a better life. They don't recycle. When they throw the paper in the container, they don't send it to the recycling department. Then we're wasting money, we're wasting paper, and we're wasting energy for this city. Then it scares me the most when they have all the power to decide for our children of Florence. Then what we're going to do, Mr. Guzman, My motion tonight is to take this out of table and to send it to the full council with favorable recommendation, because we all have to care about the education of this city. We cannot leave it on the people from Boston. We cannot leave it on the Chapter 70 that we don't know what they're doing with that money. We have to engage. We have to be part of. We have to ask them, let's come and work together as a team, because it's not happening. It's not happening. Then my motion is to send it to the full council. Second.
Can I hear a second? Any other question?
I second your motion, but I want to mention, we don't have the whole documentation to review and send it with favor recommendation. But I know Mr. Guzman attending for different occasions, follow this case. That's why I vote in favor. But we're supposed to have the whole documentation to review point by point, because we don't have right now.
That be sent to us as soon as possible?
I will send that right now while I'm in the meeting. Again, thank you, hold taken. Not our end, clearly, right? We have provided all documents. Those that have asked to meet, we have met, discussed, delivered, provided. The same attorney. The only law that we really pushing on is Chapter 12. And he left that on the resolution. He left that himself. Your own attorney left it. Well, our attorney as well, sometimes. So,
Discussion on the motion?
Madam Chair, so thank you. I think what I'm hearing is that there's a desire to send it up. I think there's some questions regarding whether or not it should be a favorable recommendation. It may be worth considering if it's sent out without a recommendation, just a thought, if that's the direction the committee wants to go in. The other thing is, if and when this does get set up to the full council, is this all we're going, I mean, when I say all, are we going to engage in the kind of conversation that goes and provides the entirety of the circumstances here? If the answer is yes, as the manager of the city council meeting, knowing that we have so many hours of time, we could spend, frankly, considerable time at the full council level dealing with this. We have a very loquacious and informed speaker before us this evening who probably could spend an hour talking about why we need to do what we do without even listening to another side, giving another perspective on it. The question is can we manage it at the full council level and the kind of attention and time that it deserves? That's the only thing that I'm thinking of as well. So I throw those two things out. The other thing, my last point is I cannot give my opinion at the full council level, sitting as the chair and as the president of the council. I'm going to give my opinions constantly evolve. But as I stand right now, here's where I stand on this. I think, and first of all, I understand the frustration by the vice chair. I understand the amount of time he's come here. I've had to serve as a member here because of an opening for 2 meetings, and both of those meetings, the vice chair has been here. Typically, I would not be here for these meetings, as you know.
I'm happy that you're here because you're talking, you're answering questions.
So there we go. So, but this gives me the opportunity. So I would be in favor of a more streamlined, less detail-oriented resolution that calls upon the decision makers to understand that the city council looks forward to an accelerated opportunity for there to be local control. I understand that the vice chair has a variety of a basis for the opinions. All I'm informed is on one side of this. I'm not fully informed on both sides. So I have great pause before I say yes to that. If I was the author of a resolution and if I was offering it to this council, my resolution would be as simple as what I just said, that we We want local control in the city. We want to have this as soon as possible. We understand that local control is a bedrock foundational part of this, of education throughout this country. And we want to re-engage and be a part of that once again. Because as a city councilor, in all candor, there's so much on the city council plate. ISD, police, fire, permits we were dealing with this evening, DPW, potholes, you call it. I mean, there's
Education
a
is part
ton
of
of,
it.
I know that, I mean, the vice chair has contacted me regarding ISD. I mean, there's so much stuff, right? Almost finished with my diatribe here. I want to be streamlined, but that's my perspective on this. So I just want to share that with this council. Depending on what is sent up, depending on what we vote on ultimately, will dictate how I end up voting for it. But I wanted the record to reflect what I want to see happen. And there's no difference in what the vice chair wants. It's just how do we get there?
Yeah.
That's the difference. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Can we ask for the city attorney to be here to give us orientation on that day? Yes. Then, should I repeat the motion?
He's, by the way, Madam Chair, he can give guidance on the law, but he's not necessarily the person to give an opinion on competing sides of a question, if you understand what I'm saying, right? So we can say, this is lawful, this is not unlawful, I advise you to do this, or not advise you to do that, here are ramifications if you go this route. That's the kind of stuff he says to us. But if he says to us, you know, on section 12?
Section 12.
12.
Chapter 12.
But that's why we have the city attorney, who is the advisor, for us to do the things the right way.
And with this one, remember, and with all respect, there's no way on this. Remember, it's an opinion of the city council. This is an opinion of, hey, nothing might happen. To defer on your plate situation, this is not a Lawrence Public School issue. This is a governance issue. This is the City of Lawrence School Committee, who is under the city charter, right? You're dealing with the school committee, not with Lawrence Public School System. So we want to defer from that and saying that this is yet another thing within your plate, that I also want to make sure that that's clear. And it is an issue, because my argument is that education is the most powerful weapon in the world, and that's the economic, and that's what's going to move our city forward. Because if you do not get on the boat to improve our Lawrence Public School systems, how are we going to increase and get those individuals that are going to make the money to come back, pay taxes, and like that way we're going to invest locally? When we talk about who is the other party, what other party? What other party? We are just asking you to an elected school committee here at the local level, guys. I'm not saying, city councilors, I'm not saying go to the state and say, hey, we want to elect a school committee. No, we're saying here, on the city level, we want to continue to support an elected school committee, right? You as a body have nothing to do with the state level legislation. On the local level, you will not entertain anything that would change the demographics of the Lawrence elected school committee. That is what's on the resolution. It's not asking you to go into the LAE and ask to the Department of Education and ask them, hey, give us a school back, right? It's not saying that. What it's saying, hey, under Chapter 12, we believe they're not formalized correctly. Again, this information has been provided and delivered multiple times, right? I will send that to individually to each counselor, and I will put a receipt and everything on it to ensure that when you go on to the level of the full council, you have all your information. I will be before you. Yes, let's have that conversation at the full council, because they all individually should be hearing these questions and these arguments, right? This intentional, good, challenging arguments to ensure that they can comprehend, because I don't know if every counselor really has the time to sit down and watch your meetings that are not here and see what happened in the ordinance meeting, right, before the council, because there's too much on your plate, right, as we keep repeating, right? And I appreciate all the work that you do, and I hope that you appreciate what we're trying to do. Day and day. Remember, we don't get compensated. We're here, I'm here before you because I care about this position. Not because I want to be here forever, not because I want to create somewhere where I can, no. I'm here to create space, not to hold space. I'm here to build. I am proud of my colleagues, parents that have not gone to a graduation or a family thing because they had to deal with me on pushing them to be better, to be professionals, to show that we care, because that's the argument, right? Why give it back to a committee that is not prepared? Whose fault is that? Ours? Do we have the resources that we need in order to be prepared? Has this body provided us? Has the state provided us? No, we have to argue for them. Argue, I'm not joking, argue in a table for stuff that is in the law. But because we have too much on our plate, we don't keep track about this. That this is happening, that it keeps happening. History after time and time and time, and when we're unable to catch these things happening and look the other way.
Yes, Councilor De La Cruz.
Should I repeat the motion again?
Okay.
The motion is to send to the full council with favor recommendation and to ask the city attorney to be present.
Any discussion or approve of the motion? So the motion, I think so that Council Reyes requested that the only way that she's going to approve your motion is to change, to send it without any recommendation. Because we do not have any document or any paper in here for us, like to discuss or to see at this moment. So that's the only way that Council Reyes said that she's going to approve. So, any comments again?
We have no recommendation. It's the great opportunity to send it to the full council and give you to our colleagues be involved in this conversation. And also, we had time to review Chapter 12 and also make questions to our attorney.
To the city attorney. How do you say that
Yes, it's an amendment to your motion. Instead-
Yes, amendment to my motion, yes.
So did you accept?
Send the motion and make a new one.
We send to send this to the full council to be discussed with the city attorney.
Without a recommendation?
Without,
Okay.
yes.
Maria, did you hear the motion? It's to send it to the full council without any recommendation, but at the same time to send information or to request the city attorney to send information and to be present at the next city council meeting to discuss this item. Mr. Guzman, we would like also to get the information before the next city council to be sent to each of the city council. Any information that you have in your hands regarding this item, so that we have the time to read or to discuss or whatever that we have to do, to be informed, and maybe by there we can get the best solution and solve as much as we can this problem.
I will ensure that that happens individually and also through Teresa to ensure that it gets printed and delivered directly to your hand, and I will talk to the city clerk to ensure that happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Council?
There was no vote.
So, motion is already made and approved. Any further question? No more question after this is being approved? Everybody is in favor?
Yeah, I,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Without, yes, without no recommendation. Getting back to the agenda. So we have item 19323 is Family Fun Day at the Corner Parks. And this will be Saturday, July 1st, 2023. That was sent by Nelson Ortiz and Jerinson Cruz. Can I hear a motion, please?
Motion to approve? Motion to send to the further recommendation?
second the motion.
Discussion.
So discussion, Council President.
Since I'm just a guest of this committee, can the committee remind me again, do we require that if somebody wants to apply for a permit that they show up to this meeting? Or do, I think I've asked this question before. I didn't get a very satisfactory answer, so I'll ask it again. Does the committee require that people show up so questions can be asked? Do we check the things? Does that typically happen, or do we just
Okay.
send it on up?
Council President, yes. So we ask the person to be present, so when they submit an item to, either to the ordinance or to any other committee. That is why our secretary spend the day, the afternoon, calling every single people that is on the agenda, just to remind them that they already have something in here. So, this is July 1st.
The next meeting's our last meeting before that.
Can we send it to the full council and request that the owner to be here? Motion to send to the full council and the person have to be present.
Okay, so she need to accept that the amendment to the motion that she is being. Okay, so she is accepting the amendment. So the motion is to send it to the full council, request without no recommendation, and to accept and to request the person to be present at the city council meeting. Also in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You got the motion? Yes. Okay. So item 19423 is the Hawkers and Pillars license. Heavy Hitters Marketed by Diana Miglasio. Can I hear a motion? Where table? Table.
Motion to table?
Motion to table because the paper are not in compliance.
Can I hear a second for the motion to table? She did the motion.
Second the motion.
Discussion? So motion is already made. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Motion to table, 19423. So 19523 is the farmer market that is going to happen on Wednesday, the June 14th. I don't think so that they're going to be able to do it. October 25th at the Campanon Common by Eddie Rosa, Groundwork, Lawrence.
Hi, Councilor. Jonathan Guzman, External Affairs Manager of Groundwork Lawrence. Basically, what we're asking is permission to have the farmers market on city property. One is on the, on Saturdays on the O'Connell South Common, and then on Wednesdays is on the Campanon North Common. Yep. And then I brought some flyers to give you, and then for your records, and then we're gonna be submitting this to every council member to help us promote. As you know, one of the things that I have the privilege to is fight for these type of programs at the state level, where policy on us, the external affairs manager of groundworks, and where we're able to discuss like HIP programs. Since the implementation of that program, we have been able to support thousands of people, local farmers, produce coming into to the city, and being able to provide different individuals of all ages the opportunity to come and get fresh produce at our farmers market, from honey, name it, call it, food, meat, all in general to be able.
Motion to approve, motion to send to the full council.
I have a question. Mr. Guzman, okay, so the first day that you're asking for is June 14.
So the first day, clearly I can say I did not submit it, right? Where we be with time into the committee chambers. This is tomorrow. This is a conversation I had with my staff when I was told to please support this. But we hope that this council allow us the diligence to do it, as we have multiple people. Yeah.
Motion to send to the full council favor recommendation and to take away the 30 days.
Can I hear?
Can do it on
It's not a 30 day, it's not. Okay, we have a motion. Can I hear the approve for the motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So the ayes have it. The second item is 19623. It's the farmer market Saturday from June 17 to October 28 at the O'Connell Park. So submitted by Eddie Rosa from the Groundwork Lawrence.
Jonathan Guzman, External Affairs Manager of Groundwork Lawrence. Again, this is before you for the approval of doing a farmers market here in the city of Lawrence, and being able to provide, fresh produce and locally owned items, produce to our members of our community. And we love doing it. We have been able to increase the revenue of local farmers and provide the support the families need.
Motion to, can I hear motion?
Motion to send to the full council with favor recommendation.
Motion made it, already second. All those in favor?
Aye.
So the ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Guzman. So the next item is item 19823. It's celebrating recovery on September the 23rd, 2023 at 3 p.m., from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Campanon Common Park by Raquel Pesuto. Any comment, councilors, on this? So he's not in here. He hear a motion?
She has all the paper in place.
Yes.
That we should just send it.
Confused by this committee.
Motion to send to the full council. The person have to be present to be approved.
Council, I think that still they have time. It's September the 23rd, so we should table and call them to come to at the next Ordinance Committee.
Set the amendment, Ms. Martin.
So we have the motion is to table the item,
Yes.
call the person to come here at the next ordering committee. So motion to approve? To table, to table. Okay? You did an amendment. So the motion is already approved? No. Yes. It's all, the motion to table is already approved.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't vote.
Yeah, you already voted. All those in favor?
Aye.
So the ayes have it. So the next item is item 223, is 15-minute parking. No, we already did the 199. So it's the 15-minute parking, grocery store at 130 Franklin Street by Xiomara Garcia. So okay, motion to send item to be sent to the Officer Cano for review. And table, yes. Can I hear a second?
Second?
So motion already tabled and second. All those in favor?
Who made the motion, Madam Chair? Aye.
All those in favor say aye. Okay. Item 20123, this is 15 minutes parking, and that is for removal. 486 Howard Street. It's been submitted by Councilor Ana Levy and Francisco Fria. So that is for withdrawal. Can I have a motion?
Motion to withdraw?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, point of inquiry, are you looking to, is this a proposal to remove the parking? What's already, oh, it's already gone, but is it on our books? Have we had a public hearing on this?
This is very old. The problem is that they put it on the wrong side.
Madam Chair, so my question is the sign today where the book is correct? Does it match what our ordinances say today? Is the sign in the right spot right now?
Yes.
So it matches that. So what is this looking to do? We're just trying to...
What we are going to do is to remove the handicap parking, I'm sorry, the 2 15-minute parking on 480C Howard Street.
And it shouldn't be there because there's no ordinance for that. Is the ordinance to cross the street? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. And so I'm just curious, why didn't DPW just pull them up if there's no ordinances for them?
Because DPW, what happened with DPW that they put it on the wrong way. That was supposed to be on the other side of the street.
Sure.
And they put it on the wrong spot.
And they made a mistake, so
And
why?
they made a mistake.
Why is it before the council? Why don't they just pick it up and move it? Because they made a mistake. The law says whatever the right address is. I'm just curious as to why we have this on the agenda when DPW would just say, listen, check with the clerk. Is there an ordinance that says that? No, there isn't. Well, why do you have it there? Oh, I don't know. We made a mistake. Well, pull them up. Are they where they're supposed to be? No. Well, the law says you're supposed to put them across the street. Put them there, because we've already had a public hearing and everything else. I'm just confused as to why this is, I'll do whatever you want, Madam Chair. I just don't know why this is on the agenda when it could be done with with just DPW and having a conversation with the clerk.
That's what she's doing. She's withdrawing from us.
Yes,
You withdrawing this?
Yeah.
yes.
It's just to
I
withdraw.
withdrawing, yeah.
Okay.
It's for withdraw.
I'm clear now, Madam Chair. Thank you, Counselor from District A. Appreciate it. Very good. Aye.
This is the item for withdrawal right now.
I understand now.
Okay.
I confirmed it.
Did we vote?
So,
Have we voted?
yeah. No, we haven't voted? Okay. So motion to
Motion to-
send it, please,
Motion to withdraw.
and send it to the full council. All those in favor?
Aye.
So the ayes have it. Item 20323 is the handicap parking at 545 Essex Street, unit number 54, by Jose Astacio. Can I hear a motion to send this item 203 to Officer Cano?
Move.
Discussion?
Discussion.
I'm such a rookie. I'm so sorry. There was many years ago I actually chaired this committee, but I can't even remember when that was. But do we typically have the handicap parking placard as part of this, or does that come later? When does the handicap, this is handicap parking, right? When do we ask for the handicap parking placard? Now or later? I don't know how you usually do it, so.
So we send it to the Office Cano
Okay.
just to see the place or the area and to get the measuring and to approve
Sure.
the need of the handicap parking. See, that is, can be done on the area, or maybe they has to take it, a little farther, or it's practically in front, so he has to go and do the story of the place.
We supposed to have the whole documentation, we supposed to have.
And we have it,
We don't have
We don't
for
have
this
it.
act.
We don't have it for this.
we don't have it for this?
But we supposed to have
Okay,
everything to
okay.
our ordinance.
Okay. We don't have the plate. Okay. So motion to table, or please, can I hear motion to table?
Motion to table?
And also send a request to the person who is doing, who's doing anyway the request for the handicap, Miss Jose Astacio, to send the correct information and send copy of the plate. Can I hear a motion to table now?
Motion to table?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Two oh four 23 is a resolution honoring gymnast Jonel Canales, and this is being submitted by Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez.
Send to the full council with. To. Isn't it the draft over there?
The other draft, Madam Chair, was for the St. John's Prep graduate, not for this individual. I just signed one for the,
We signed one.
for the St. John's Prep person, not for this person.
Then,
So motion, what is the motion?
motion to send correspondent to Mr. Rodriguez.
I would recommend, as a courtesy to our colleague, that we move this up and inform the counselor to please, obviously, get the resolution to us. Usually these resolutions are controversial. They're usually, this person did something great in gymnastics. I don't know if the counselor's looking to have someone show up at the next meeting, and I would hate to disappoint the counselor with that. So I would recommend that we send it, of course, without a recommendation. That would give us some pause, and ask for the resolution to be before the council in time for the next meeting. That's what I would recommend.
We
Can
accept
you-
your friendly amendment.
Okay. Can you repeat the motion, please?
Motion to send to the full council and send information to the, to Mr. Rodriguez
Without.
with our recommendation.
Motion is already made and approved. Those in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is item 20523. Is the use of the Immigrant Place Park, Chestnut Street and Short Street. At Isabel Melendez name is by Councilor Vice President Estela. Council. No. What we have?
The same thing?
Chestnut Street and Short
Madam
Street.
Chair, if I could have the floor on this.
Mr.
If it's
Council
if
President?
it's permissible,
Yes.
thank you. Listen, I fundamentally don't have a problem with the naming of a park that hasn't been already been designated. This one clearly, I don't believe has. What I would encourage my colleagues to do, any of us, when we do something, is to provide information, whether it's for Denise Murray that took place several weeks ago, Nunzio DeMarca months ago, et cetera. Oftentimes we're getting these requests only because we know people, and it does a disservice to the council next year, 5 years, 20 years from now, when they look back at our records and all they see is this. And I'm telling you that I'm working on a project right now that's been researching all the different namings of our city. It's about 200. And I oftentimes try to find in our council records things back in 1930. And sometimes I'm very lucky in the city council that preceded us has all this stuff documented on whoever that person is, and that's fantastic. I just think we need to put and I don't want to cast aspersions. I have a lot of respect for the sponsor, I mean a lot. But I think we should really have a higher standard of when things are submitted to the council, that we have that. And so there is a time sensitivity, I'm told, on this. I don't know all the details, and I don't know how to, I don't know what recommendation to provide to the committee, because I just don't know when they're looking to do some sort, what they call it, a naming ceremony of some sort. And we know this individual, and we know this person's contributions to the city. It's Isabel Melendez. We understand what a force she has been through her lifetime in providing a gateway to many people historically from our Latin American countries and Caribbean islands. And she has been someone who's been instrumental, right? And we rightfully should be honoring her for her contributions. I just wish we could have that in writing and all the other great stuff she's done. A park is a big deal. Nunzio DeMarca Park is a big deal. Naming a park is a big deal. Naming something else, a room somewhere, while it's good and it's important and it's nice, you're not going to see the room, but you're going to see the park. And there's going to be a big plaque. And people beyond us are not going to know the story and how we got there. So that's my struggle. I want to move this up. Out of deference to my colleague, our colleague, I just wish we had more information. Perhaps what we do is this. Perhaps we send it to the full council without a recommendation again, and then ask the sponsor for background information. Put it in a recital. Whereas Isabel Melendez came from Puerto Rico in 1970 or 60, whatever, whereas Isabel Melendez took it upon herself that she motivated thousands of people to register to vote in the city of Lawrence, whereas she helped numerous people, whatever, ... That way we have something, and maybe ask her for that. So I'll stop there because I don't want to take over this committee, so I'll stop and listen. Thank you.
Council, any request on this regard? Any motion?
Sending, we have recommendation.
Sending without recommendation, and also ask to the sponsor to write something regarding, I'm sorry, I didn't. Why we should have this recommendation.
Second the motion.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Discussion. It's a 15 minutes parking. Grocery store at 130 Franklin Street was submitted by Xiomara Garcia. Please, all of the paper are.
What number is that, Madam Chair? Sorry.
200. It's no. We also do not have the plate. So, can I hear a motion, please?
We now
Hey,
already-
what is the-
Sending to officer and also table.
And for favor.
We already voted for that.
That's the 200?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We continue with
206. 20623 is a four-way stop at South Broadway and Farley Street. So this is need a traffic study being submitted by Councilor Infante and Councilor Serena Reyes. So to be sent to the city engineer and also to Officer Cano. Can I hear a motion, please?
Is the motion to table or to send?
to send and table.
To send and table.
Table the motion and send it to Officer Cano
Second.
for
For
traffic
traffic
studies.
study. And also to send it to the engineer.
City engineer, yes.
Yes. So the motion is being made by Councilor De La Cruz, that was approved by Councilor Reyes. All those in favor say
Aye.
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 The aye have it. So, item 20723 is the four-way stop at Mount Vernon Street, Sparko Drive, and Mount Vernon Sur. It's needed a traffic study submitted by Councilor Stephanie Infante.
Motion to send to Officer Cano, table the.
And also needed a story, so it has to be
send
sent
the
to city engineer.
Discussion.
Discussion.
So I had a chance to talk to the clerk last week, and I don't know if these are the ones, but there are several, maybe two or three, these could be them, where it, and I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but there is a significant cost associated with some of these traffic studies. Not all of them, but some of them have to go out. I have one that's currently on the city council agenda right now, on that first set of items for Salem Street and, no, is it Andover? No, Salem Street and Foster. And to get that, apparently because Salem Street at one time was going to be the main street, the Essex Street of the city, the main business, and they had it really, really wide. And because of that, the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission for a study. And when we do a study like that, it's thousands of dollars for it to get done. I believe that these might be, since they're Mount Vernon Street, again, another wide, big street, that might be happening. What I don't know, I'm saying this for informational purpose, what I don't know is whether this committee sending it up is going to trigger that or not. Or does it have to go before the council for the triggering? We get to the council and maybe stuck where mine is stuck right now, which is in that section which is ordering a public hearing. So as I'm saying all that, I think what the committee's doing is the right thing, to send it up, then it comes back. There might be another step later with the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission. So I concur with my colleagues on the committee on this to do as you just recommended. Thank you.
So the motion is to send it to, to send it to the city engineer, to send it also to Officer Cano, and to table. So, can I hear second? So motion already second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item in the agenda is resolution.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do that one too. Oh my God.
Next item on the agenda is 2010-23 resolution in support of Lawrence Public Schools financial audit by state auditor by Jonathan Guzman, Vice President of the Lawrence School Committee. Mr. Guzman.
Vice Chair of the Lawrence School Committee, the item before you is yet another resolution that we hope doesn't take a year to send out an opinion. Actually, it's not even, it's an opinion, but it's a vote that has to be taken in order for the state auditor to go on and do an audit, a financial audit on Lawrence Public School systems. So when we started having the conversation on the school committee, and we actually enter into pieces and where we looked into a particular space within the website, which is the financial space of Lawrence Public Schools. And then we pull the information also from the city website, where the financial audits for the city of Lawrence are posted and delivered, and where there's one section and where it tells you the school department, right? The department of Lawrence Public School System. It tells you in one line what went in, and that's it, right? When your third party that does the audit, the financial audits, they do only your side. When they intend, and this is again documentation that was forward, hopefully it got to you, probably not. When they intend to do this financial audits, on their communication that they release, says that they were denied multiple times, and where their letters or their audits were not audits but opinions because information was not provided. And then the only areas in where they were able to do an audit, there was discrepancy found. Millions of dollars, right, discrepancies, like concerning. So when we started looking into other areas and other schools, like if you look at the Lowell Public School Systems, they have their financial audits posted every year, right? Specifically for Lawrence Public Schools, and where Chapter 70 money is 90% of the financing, it is critical because it's not coming directly through here. right? It goes through your budget process. You see a budget that really doesn't deliver the information that you probably are seeking as a city council. Where is this money going to? I heard conversations on salary. Why are we not seeing the who's getting what position is getting what? An audit will tell you that, right? This is something that they're supposed to do every year. So when we reach out, the school committee itself requested the state auditor for support, right? The school committee reached out to the department itself and requested these financial audits. The first document that we got was the city audits, the ones that I mentioned. We did an appeal. The Secretary of State came back and ordered them to supply the actual documentation because the documentation that they provided was erroneous. Then they provided us the letters from the third party, where clearly it says, this is not an audit. We were not provided the full power or data that we need in order to do an audit. We appeal that. Then comes back the Secretary of State and orders them within 10 days to supply the financial audits that are required under the law. That is within the resolution, which I might ask, do you have them? Nope, okay. Okay, great. So, what we are basically, our opinion is based on the resolution that we provided to this council. It's the same resolution and opinion that we had on the level of the school committee, which it was submitted to the secretary, where it is under the general law of chapter 44, section 40. It clearly says that there has to be an annual regional school audit that needs to be done, right? And when we submitted that and we requested this, the school couldn't provide it because it hasn't been done. It's not posted, it's not done. The financial audits don't not happen in our school district. And it's something that is mandated by the law. And we went over to the Secretary of State and we requested these documents based on the law. And they ordered them to supply, and where, at the end, they reply, we had never done them. The Lawrence Public School System said, we are unable to provide further documentation because there's none. There's no financial audits of the Lawrence Public School financing, right? And when we went that way, we used that information and we went to the auditor and we said, look, here's the third party saying we are not allowed, we are not given the information that we need in order to do an effective audit. Here's information in where the school is unable to provide it because it has never been an audit done, a financial audit. And we request the state auditor to come in. And why we went to the state auditor is because 90% of the financing to Lawrence Public School is taxpayer money of the Massachusetts Commonwealth. 90%. It is a state issue now. To know that the money that is provided to our schools and the money that this body is providing, the 10% that is providing of the 70% of our budget, right? So we want to make sure that we're clear of that. It's 70% of our budget. It's not that we're giving a little, it's that what we can give, right? We don't know. The council is unable to say, look, I know where my 10% is going. I know where it's going. Look, it's going in specific places. Look, money came in and we didn't send it back to the federal government. Look, they were able to spend it on A, B, and C. Salary on different schools are getting These are the individuals, the same way and format that you have. When we submitted it, the state auditor took on the case, but there's a process in where our body needs to say, yes, we want an audit. This body has to say, yes, we need an audit. And the mayor has to say, yes, we need an audit in order to do this. And that particular language comes from the general law, in where is chapter 11, section 12, where it states, provide, however, that in the town following the majority vote by the Board of Selectmen School Committee that is ratified by a special or annual town meeting, or in a regional school district following a 2/3 vote of the regional school district committee member, or in the city following a majority vote of the city council and approval by the mayor, or in the county following majority vote of the county commissioners, the department of the state auditor may make an audit on the accounts, programs, activities, and other public functions as the said town, district, regional school district, city, or county to the extent determined necessary by the state auditor. This is why this is before you, because we need your approval and support, yet again, on this issue. To be able to come back and say, the auditor come back and say, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're good. And make sure that they start doing their audits, that they show taxpayers, state and locally, we are spending the funding we're supposed to be spent. Documentation was submitted. I will resubmit and send it individually to each council to ensure that you get the documents that you need in order to make a decision. Thank you.
Madam?
Councilor, any question?
Yes, Madam.
Councilor De La Cruz?
Mr. Guzman.
The resolution says it will be sent to the state auditor. No. So the state audit and the information that we send over onto this resolution of support, right, of this audit, it says, now therefore be it resolved that the Lawrence City Council supports the Lawrence Public School financial audit by the state auditor and directs the clerk to transmit an official copy to this resolution to the state auditor's office, Mayor Brian De Peña, Vice Chair Jonathan De Guzman, Chair Patricia Mariano, and Interim Superintendent Juan Rodriguez. So these individuals are the ones, accountability, transparency, knowing, and this is not new, they know that. When Interim Superintendent Juan Rodriguez went he got appointed, I make sure when I started this, and the school committee started talking about this issue, we went and we asked, please, we don't want, I know that this might take resources, you might have to pull people to do this, let's have a conversation. Let's make sure that our people feel comfortable that the money that you're supposed to be spending are spent correctly, and that it's public, because it's supposed to be public. And it's not available. You aren't able to go say, okay, in this department, you're spending this money, this is what's got allocated. The same as the budget, as the audits, as the city. It really provides you where money is going, right? And you as a council, you're able to ask these questions and know where the taxpayer money is going. And this is not happening in the Lawrence Public School systems. And there's always questions about where the money is going to. Here's a chance.
Councilor De La Cruz?
Thank you. No, done.
You had, okay, are you done? Okay. That's okay.
I have a question. Who is the person to pay with the audit?
Say it again, sorry, I didn't hear you.
Who is the person in charge to pay? When we decide to conduct an audit, who is the person in charge to pay?
Thank you for that question. This comes directly from the state auditor. They are the ones, they are the body that by statute, we grant them the opportunity and they just come in, right? They will do the diligence of how they follow their process. We just need to give them the okay, right? Remember, we're a part of the system, but we're not a state agency. So it's a little more, it's different. It's different. But we are able to grant them, and they will need to get their own resources, right? We don't have the resources locally to do such audit. Years of financial state audits, financial audits in the school department. That happen every year in the city, every year.
Thank you, Mr. Guzman. My second item, you also submitted the language?
Yeah, there's a resolution, a draft resolution recommendation. And it was sent also to this body, actually, and Timothy, Attorney Houghton, and the city clerk.
You submitted the draft for the new item?
Yeah,
Because we don't have it.
I will send it.
We
Individual,
don't
and yeah, even the language, I make sure that language came with receipt and Husai and but I was resubmitted. But it is, I can assure you, it's on the hands of the attorney. I have a email receipt and everything that he saw it and he received them. It's on his hands, on his email.
So this request, did you finish? Yes. So this request you said that is going to the Massachusetts State Audit.
Auditor. And I can read the resolution of it. It's really short, it's like precise and right to the point. If you want, it's really quick, I can read it. Like to give you a context of what it is. That fine? So it says, whereas, so resolution in support of the state audit of the Lawrence Public School by state auditor. Whereas on blank this date, the Lawrence City Council voted to support the Lawrence School Committee and the state auditor in conducting a financial audit on the Lawrence Public School. And whereas the Lawrence City Council recognizes that the goal of this audit is to determine that the Lawrence Public School allocated funding for expenditures through Chapter 12, Chapter 70, local funding, and other monetary allocations have been properly spent since the school district was put in receivership. And whereas such public records are crucial to transparency and are the key to dispelling the myth of our schools, and our school is not allocating enough funding to the correct departments in order to improve student performance. And whereas the Lawrence Public Schools was ordered to give financial audits to the Lawrence School Committee, however, the Lawrence Public Schools only provided limited audits, which the Power and Sullivan LLC found inadequate. And whereas the end-of-year financial statement audits give taxpayers peace of mind that their tax dollars are being spent to help every student get the education they deserve. And whereas Lawrence Public Schools continue to violate General Law, Part 1, Title B11, Chapter 44, Section 44, by failing to comply with the annual regional school audit and to provide a copy of such audit to the school committee, the mayor, the city council, and city clerk to ensure its publication. Now thereof be it resolved that the Lawrence City Council supports the Lawrence School financial audit by the state auditor and directs the clerk to transmit an official copy of this resolution to the state auditor Diana De Soglio, Mayor Brian De Peña, Vice Chair Jonathan Guzman, Chair Patricia Mariano, and the Interior Superintendent Juan Rodriguez.
Councilor, any comment on this?
I have another question. I'm a little confused.
Councilor.
If we send this up to the full council, then who is coming back to give us an answer on that?
So you're, just to the ready your question, you're asking me if it goes to the city council, who is gonna?
To whom are we going to resolution?
So the resolution is going, as its approval, if it happens, hopefully. It will be, the resolution will be directed to the state auditor, right? For her to see, for her team to see, the city council say yes. The school committee say yes, the city council say yes. Then we will enter in conversations with our chair and the executive branch to request his support on this. If he doesn't, an audit will not happen because he needs to say yes as well. There's already
Needs
a
to say
meeting in
yes.
place for this conversation.
Who needs to say yes?
The
Who?
3 bodies of governance: Lawrence School Committee, the City Council, and the executive branch, the mayor, have to say yes.
I'm sorry, Council President?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you so much. So, again, there's a lot of stuff to unravel here, so I'm not going to go through all of everything. My first reaction is when we said the word violation inside there, we went to a political conclusion that there was a violation. This council will be saying or signing off only on your testimony, based on just pure faith in what you're saying, and we're not independently verifying that. That should cause pause. We should make sure that before we put our names in a vote on it, that we independently make sure, at least through the CAFO or somebody, that they are in violation. That's the first thing that jumps out in my mind. Second thing, I actually think that an audit, generally speaking, I mean, is very compelling. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of money. That 90% of the budget, according to you, and I think that's correct, of the money that we're paying for our school system is coming from the state. As a side note, we're also got the state takeover, and they also spend 90%. There's a strange little correlation there somewhere, but let's not go down that rabbit hole too deeply. Third, what may be confusing, and what I think I've straightened out in my head, is that there's 2 things here. One is this internal audit that should be done by the school district dealing with its funding. The second is an audit that we're petitioning through the 3 branches of government to ask the state auditor to do it. My question: why do you think that law was placed that requires 3 the schools, the council, and the mayor to petition this request? Why is that tool there when there's already a requirement, according to the testimony you provided, that we go ahead and do an audit? Why is there a secondary? Why? I don't understand the rationale. Yeah. Do you know why that tool's there?
Yeah, I actually, when we did it, that's the information that we got from the office, the state auditor office. You know, our own deliverances, it makes sense. We're not an agency, right? There's a form of government here on the local level, and where there's already financial audits that happen on the city level, at least on this side. But on that side, it hasn't happened, right? And when we look, and one of the things, clarification is this resolution, and when you read the language and you get it, it doesn't talk about them not doing it. It only gives, right? It's not sending it to the attorney office, right?
I disagree, Mr. Guzman. If you could read that section again, it says what the violation is. I think there's an allegation there that the school department has not been forthcoming in providing the audits that you claim that is required. But I could have misheard you. Could you read that section again?
Yeah, so I'm gonna read it. So whereas the Lawrence Public School continues to violate the general law, Part 1, Title B11, Chapter 44, Section 44, by failing to comply with the annual regional school audit and not providing a copy of such audit to the Lawrence School Committee, Mayor, City Council, City Clerk, and to ensure its publication. And my question is, has this council ever received an audit from the school department?
No, that's not my question. My question is that it sounds as though we're stating that there's in violation of not doing the audits that they're required to do annually. That's what that resolution, I think, says. I think you confirmed, because I heard it the second time, and that you quoted the law, and the law requires. And so there. And I had a conversation with the CAFO last week, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, because I don't have the command you have of this, and to a certain extent, I defer to you to a certain extent.
Thank you.
And I mentioned to the CAFO, frankly, the concerns, that why don't we have an audit? Why isn't this happening? And I'm going to very generally, because I don't have, very generally give a general response that requires more depth that I can't provide. But the general thing is that DESI, I believe, is the organization that has some sort of accounting, some sort of, you call it an audit situation where there's certain things that have to be taken off and reviewed. I'm being very inartful.
The same information you
Discussion,
gave me.
and I apologize for that because I just don't have a command of it. But it seemed like there was a component or some sort of process in place. It seemed like that process was being followed. My recommendation, as the vice chair, is if you have an opportunity to have that dialogue with the CAFO on that, and make sure what I'm saying is accurate and that I'm not misunderstanding, and get a full sense as to what's the obligation. I just brought out our audit that the Budget and Finance Committee, I think, reviewed it yesterday. Anybody in Budget and Finance? You dealt with that last night?
No.
No,
We
but,
were not able to.
okay, but that's coming up, right,
Yes.
at some point. So, and these are the kinds of questions I think the Budget and Finance can be asking or should be asking about this question that Mr. Guzman is bringing up. So those are some thoughts that I have, so, and I don't know where this is going. I'm not sure we're going to bring it up tonight, but I like the idea. I think there needs to be more depth involved in it, and I just don't know how we get there. At least it's not clear to me how we get there, because some of it is acrimonious, and I'm not sure I'm there.
Yeah, and can I respond? So one of the things, again, going back to the question, because it reflects on the question that the president just asked me, is, are they really in violation? I ask you again, has this body received a financial audit from the Lawrence Public Schools? A financial audit. You have not. That is exactly the words. The Lawrence School Committee hasn't. That's the exact words of the law. It clearly says that as the audit is done, a copy of such needs to be provided to the school committee, to the mayor, to the city council, and to the city clerk to ensure its publication. If you're not following that, are you in compliance with the law?
Councilor De La Cruz?
I understand that this city received back money of Chapter 70. We cannot testify that because we don't have any document. But in the last 2 years, after the pandemic, the city of Lawrence have received a lot of money that we don't know where the money went. We don't have anybody from the school department come in and say, hey, we use the Chapter 70 in this, and that. Then my concern is how are they using, I understand that we get a lot of the money from the state, but it's also taxpayer money that they are using. As the body of the city council, we need to know. We need to be informed. We need to know what's going on, because we are the one providing a great amount of money in their budget, a lot of $1 million every year. Then, you know, I think we have been so nice as the body of the city council, because we are not demanding. It was a demand about 3 years ago that everybody have to come in and inform the city council about the things that they were doing, and to bring us. I remember that we only got it from the police department most of the time, on a monthly basis.
Councilor, we also receive from the
We receive a book, but we don't know how this money and the back money that they receive is being used. Then we need, they have to report to somebody, and that somebody is us, the city council.
And if I can respond to that, I'm gonna just give you some context. Go to, the same company that does your audits, Lowell, gets it done with them. you know? It's happening in other areas. Why is it not happening here? And I spoke to the CAFO. I spoke to the CAFO. You know, he mentioned there has never been an audit done. They do a, what is called an end-of-year distribution, right, of funds. Where is it? The school cannot provide it. That's exactly what we're looking for, right? They did not provide it when it was ordered to them by the Secretary of Massachusetts. Why? Why do we have communication that says we don't have anything to provide you? That's why we need our state auditor to come in and give us an answer of what this money is at, what they're doing. Look at the, ask for the particular audits that the organization, the Power and Sullivan LLC, has. Request them, the ones that they have on Lawrence Public Schools, and you can see the language. I'm gonna give you actually all of that information. I'm gonna send it directly to all of you. The language is right there. We were denied. We were not given the information. This is just an opinion. This is not an audit. So I don't understand how this keeps happening, and this just falls the grains. People don't pay attention.
Send this.
Millions of dollars. We don't know where they're going.
President, you know more than I do. If we send this to the full council with favorable recommendation, that will go to the city attorney for review, or where?
Apparently it's a resolution. Has the resolution's already been drafted? Has it already been through the city attorney's office, the resolution? So it's already been drafted, apparently. Now, I would just keep in mind that just because the city attorney has drafted it doesn't mean he's necessarily in agreement with it, but he's writing it as to form and as what was requested. So that's probably what's before us. I would also, I'm always mindful of and I keep talking about the lanes, right? The charter that I just took out a little while ago has a whole section on the schools and then everything else, right? And the way our framers, back since 1847, quite frankly, when this was just a small town, we've always had a school committee. And we had either a common council or an aldermanic system of government. We've always had a school committee. That's been like the thing in our city. And they were very careful that they separated both the schools and that. When we talk about the budget, I think there's maybe some fundamental differences regarding the school budget. And I don't know how far down we go, because we never have been posed this question, which is, the reason why the school budget is in our budget is because if you don't have it, you don't have a balanced budget. As we talked about before, the number was 75%. I'm not sure that but it's close enough, right? There's a huge chunk of our budget that goes to schools, and if we don't have it in there, and the money's coming in for revenues for different things aren't in there, we're not gonna have a balanced budget. We are required by law to adopt a balanced budget every year. So, what it doesn't mean is that we go through and we say, the Gilmet has 27 paper clips and it really needs 30, and we need to have more paintings of the signpost of something over there. It is not the city council's job to micromanage the school department. But where the vice chair is coming is a very interesting point, and I don't have a resolution in my head. I'm fairly confident about where the distinctions are with respect to the council and respect to the schools. For me, I'm clear. Where it's a little unclear is this question regarding the accountability and the audits, right? And I need clarity. I don't know where that begins and ends. I'm again believing everything that the vice chair is saying regarding the laws, regarding the opportunities to do a second bite of the apple with the auditor, right? So there's two bites, right? Our internal and then the audit, the outside coming in to look at our books. And when I say outside, I mean a non-paid by the city thing. So I would like, if I had a conversation right now, I would do two things. I would talk to Ordinance Hernandez, and I would say to Ordinance, Ms. Hernandez, tell me what we got regarding the audits. Are we doing the audits? There's been an assertion that we were required to do it. Have we been doing it? I'd take that same question and I would go to the CAFO, and I would say, CAFO, there's an assertion that we're not doing the audits that we're supposed to be doing, required by law. Are we doing it? I'd also take that to the city attorney and say, do you agree that what this law says is interpreted that we're not following that law? So there are 3 different places I would go to try to figure out the question of the audit. And then based on that, would make a determination as to, as one person, one counselor, how I would feel about it. I would then look at it and I would say, okay, is it in our lane? Is it getting more information? Should we be requesting in this audit that, by the way, the city council pays for this. We pay for this audit out of our budget. We're required to. It can't come out of the mayor. It comes out of the council budget. I think that's required by law. So that's what we do. And the question is do we want to expand that? Do we want to look at that? Maybe there's an opportunity. I don't have those answers. But as you can imagine, see all these questions I have? And now I'm being asked to send this up with a vote tonight, and I've got too many questions that I don't know what the answers are. And we use the word violations inside there, which immediately is a red flag, because I'm jumping to a legal conclusion again that I've not researched. And so that concerns me if I'm putting my name on it. So these are the things that I'm looking at. But the argument is compelling, and that's my point. If we're dealing with good government and we're dealing with how many millions of dollars that are going to the school department, there needs to be some checks and balances, some accountability. The question is, from where? Maybe it is the auditor. I don't know, but I'm very sympathetic and I'm eager to get that answer. I'll stop there because I don't have an answer. All I got are questions. Thank you.
We asked those 3 people that you just mentioned, Council President, to be present and to ask the question, because at this point we need to make sure.
And that's the thing. I guess that's the rabbit hole that we're going into in this conversation. To my interpretation of what's going on here, the only one here that has something to do with this is, of our request to you, is a resolution, is your attorney, our attorney. The CAFO has nothing to do with this. O'Dani's, who is the person involved with us, the Secretary of State and the auditor, we already have our answer, which we provide to you, which security says we don't have nothing else to give you. That will answer that question. The CAFO has told us both, right, what DESI is doing and providing, which we don't have. I already supplied this question to you. If you have ever received an audit, I, the mayor, from the school department, I can say that right here, or something can strike me down. You have not. What we're doing here is, and our hope is, yes, there is a legal question on the language of the resolution, right? Yes, that's what we are, it has to go up to the attorney. We know that. We know process. And then from there, it comes back here, hopefully not in a year, because this is important, right? Right? This is really important to know where our taxpayer money is going. This is a city issue. We need to keep scratching that. We are not going to bring you Lawrence Public School issues here, because we're dealing with them, right? When it becomes a city where this body needs to be involved in these conversations, and where the law clearly says that you need to take a vote on this, the law says that, I don't know what else to tell you.
Mr. Guzman, but I think so that it's completely different. If we ask them to come in front of us to talk, and we can ask like the same question that we already had in our mind, and then we can proceed. So if we invite them, all 3 people, like the CAFO, Ms. O'Dani, and what is the other person that we mentioned? The city attorney. All 3 comes together, in front of us. It's going to be like a completely different than if you go and ask one person, another person, and as a one person. But we as a body, as a city council body, they should answer the question that maybe we are looking for.
Completely understand, Counselor. The CAFO has nothing to do with Lawrence Public Schools. That's Ordinance, right? Any direction of financial operations is Ordinance, Hernandez, and that will be provided to you, right? That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of moving pieces. We will provide you that. I'm sorry, ineffective information didn't get again to you. I will provide you that. I will make sure that you get it. I will communicate with you until I get an answer that you got that documentation to ensure that we're effective on these conversations and that you have everything in front of you when you're making your decision, as it's crucial. And I completely understand. I think I have not said here, please send this out for recommendation, because I know there has to be a process, right? And we're having a dialogue, and I appreciate having this conversation, because we are doing our piece, right? This is a governing issue, especially in the city of Lawrence, which is why you're involved. If we didn't, I'm gonna say it like this, if we didn't need this body, you think we would be here? You think I have so much work to do. I wanna be here right now. Mind you, I'm probably gonna be watching from home. So I do watch you. I'm civically, community engagement is important, and everybody that is watching probably at home should always watch you, to hold you accountable on the work that is happening, right? And trust. But I understand the process, right? And we're just delivering
But
the
we
process.
still ask, or we would like the CAFO, like a president, the city council president said, that we would like the CAFO, because he also have a question to the CAFO on regard of that information that you are providing to us right now. That's why I think so that we should table, if the other member of the council would like to do that, or send it to the full council without no recommendation. So I'm gonna let them to do the motion, okay? But I think so that we would like to have all three people in front of us with you also, okay? So that we can have the answer to the question that we are practically, you have a question, I have a question, and every one of the councilors in here have a question on this regard. So, yes, we should, every single penny needs to be counted in the city, by the school, by the city, by everyone, every single penny is spent. And mostly, when it's part of the taxpayer, should be counted. And we need to get a clear information on all of this.
We like to say, Jonathan is saying, we had a situation that we haven't worked on it. Then just by sending it to the we'll have to give an opinion. Affecting our city. Source of human body that we have. We have to put our eyes in there, because if we stay quiet, we're showing like we don't care. These topics, we need to bring them out, we need to discuss about it, and we need to be clear. We don't want to fight. We don't want to say word like violations. We want those violations to be clear to us. Then my recommendation is that we send this to the full council to be discussed, and just to be discussed, and to send correspondence to whoever needs to come in to explain to us if we are in the right path or we are wrong, because we might be wrong, but we need to know as well.
And that is, and that.
Excuse me, Mr. Guzman. I think we had different recommendations, because I think we can table it for tonight, find out more information because we don't have any language in front of us. Also, we don't have, I have questions, I need clarification, but we don't have nobody to offer different clarification. I appreciate you bring the whole information to us and you read the chapter and you read the resolution and you read everything, but when we put our name in everything, we need to have clarification. See, I have concern, I want to know who is the person I want to ask. It doesn't matter the person had the right answer or not, but see, I feel good to go to ask question to the CAFO or different person. I need to have the time to do that because you presented the item tonight and we need to have more clarification on this item. And my recommendation is table for tonight and find out clarification and more information about this item.
We are not signing anything if we send it up. Are we signing any paper?
We don't sign any paper, but we don't have any time to send in with favor recommendation from this committee through our full council.
I thought that those people are going to come to clarify before we sign, because I don't think we're going to sign anything yet. It's just to clarify information that we need to understand to proceed. But at this point, I don't think we can sign any resolutions.
Yeah,
we are not in that power because we don't have the answers.
That's right, we don't have the answer, and we need to find out who is the person in charge to provide us the answer.
To whom we're going to send correspondence?
Okay, so,
Can I respond something? Thank you. I can see that there's motivation here of we need to find the answer, and an audit is appealing just to know what taxpayer money is going. You know, for me, what I'm hearing is how important it is to have this conversation with the staff members of the city of Lawrence, and I would say that these questions are amazing questions, and that, you know, the city council as a whole should be having these conversations as a whole, right, with them in the room. And to be honest, it's just better for the particular worker employees of the city of Lawrence doesn't have to show up twice to say the same thing again and again on different meetings, when they can just have a conversation and a decision can be made at the city council level as a whole when the conversation is happening with the recommendations. But I understand the point of this committee in particular wanting to deliver an effective resolution to the council as a whole with the recommendations that I believe are how we submitted this agenda from the attorney on the legal side. As you know, so many concerns has happened that we submit stuff for legal advice and then it gets sent to different offices for some reason.
Mr. Guzman, we understand everything that you are asking for at this moment, but also, you know, by our side, we also need to have the information that we're looking for to make a decision, you know, on this regard. So, we mentioned, we do not have all the documentation with us in here, just only a paper that says, you know, that you are submitting this resolution, but nothing attached that we can go through and discuss it. But still, see, we discuss it in the way that we already did it right now. We don't have the person that maybe we mentioned to be in here in front of us to answer, that we can make a decision tonight and send it to the full council.
Completely agree on the lack of information not provided, not from the Lawrence School Committee.
No.
We want to be clear on that. We provided everything that we needed.
It's understandable.
The level here, unfortunately, didn't get the information to you.
Exactly.
But I will, again, forward everything to you. And I agree. If we need to have a conversation on this level to create something effective, then so be it. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Then the motion failed.
The motion, okay.
What is the motion then?
Do you?
We don't have any second. It's not conducive.
Yes. There is no second in the motion. Okay.
So is there a new motion?
Motion to table.
So may I hear a new motion for tonight on this item?
Motion to table.
Can I hear a second?
Before I second, were you looking to get correspondence, bring them over here, or just table
Oh,
them here?
yes, to say,
Corresponding with the people come with us.
So it's three?
Yeah, the three.
The next ordinance committee
The
meeting?
next ordinance committee.
Is that part of your motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Maria, did you hear the motion? Invite the city attorney, the CAFO, and Odani. Any other person that maybe you consider that should be in here?
No, because I would have said the state auditor office, but because I
Who?
wouldn't. Yeah, because we're not at that stage for them to intervene. So I think, yes, for
now,
that, yeah, those are
Those
the
three people.
recommendations to help you decide, yeah, I think.
We send the documentation if we have questions.
and we're gonna get,
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
all those in favor?
Aye.
So the ayes have it. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Wilson.
councilors. Have a good night and rest of your meeting.
Thank you. To continue with this, as we have item 21223 is a recognition of football team U12 North Junior Lancers that was submitted by Councilor Gregory Del Rosario.
Motion to send to the full council. Motion to send to the full council.
I'll second that, and just as a way of, it's actually a citation. It's not a resolution. We don't need to do this, frankly, but the counselor has asked that we go through this process, and out of respect and as a courtesy to the counselor from District C, we're doing that. So it is a citation, and so I think we're good.
You're going to bring pizza for Tuesday.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
You're going to bring pizza on Tuesday.
I
Because it's
just
going to
heard
be a
that,
long, long night.
I just heard that Councilor De La Cruz has volunteered for pizza duty, and I couldn't be more thankful. Thank you.
You are going to.
Okay.
To our budget.
So
Part of
we
the
have
budget,
a-
you can use it.
We have a motion to send it to the full council with favor recommendation. So, the motion was made by Councilor De La Cruz and second
Yeah, second.
by Council President. All those in favor?
Aye.
I have it. Item 213 is another citation honoring St. John Pratt graduated
Yeah, I thought we already.
and 2023 valedictorian, and was submitted by Jonathan Rodriguez and Councilor Giovanni De La Cruz. Jonathan Rodriguez and Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez.
No, it's actually Jonathan Rodriguez is the valedictorian.
Oh,
He's
the
student.
valedictorian is
Yeah.
Jonathan Rodriguez.
Yes.
Okay,
He's the guy getting the award, right.
okay.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Can I hear a motion?
Motion to send to the full council
Can I hear a second? All
with favor recommendation.
all those in favor? The ayes have it. So item 21523 is the approval of 5-year contract with Colonial Power Group as vendor for municipal aggregation by Anil Nakar and Mayor Brian De Peña.
Make a motion to table
Second.
and invite the, Mr.
An-
Nafkal to the
Anil
next meeting.
Nakar. Motion have been made already second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So the ayes have it. Like to take motion to take out of table item 11523.
I had two new items to submit it to,
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
for the next.
I don't think you've submitted that yet, right?
Not yet.
You just submitted the clerk, yeah, and whatever document.
What item?
Item
Where you need a Valley Camping Noon Common, August 18th?
Yes. Councilor, this item was in our last meeting, but due to the fact that it was a very long meeting and the person was in here, we were not able to take it out of table and out of order. So I'm submitting this item. It's like a raining in the valley. This is going to be in August 18 and 19, 23. That was submitted by Luis Leoner, who is the associate ministry. Can I hear a motion?
Motion to send to the full council with favorable recommendation.
Discussion quickly, do they have all their sign-offs and
Yes,
everything?
everything is already signed off, everything is in order and practically with, in all of the paper.
And they weren't expected to deal with this tonight. They didn't know about tonight.
Yes. But they were present at the last ordering committee, yes.
They should come back.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Call the vote.
It's okay. Motion was already made, already approved. All those in favor?
Motion to do
Aye.
what?
The ayes have it.
Motion. Yes.
Council, any other item that we would like to take it out of the table? No. Motion to adjourn. Can I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? So the ayes have it. Good night.
Aye.